Hopefully I get this Fubo. If not, I put it on my phone.
Hey. Sports reports, no gimmicks, no clowns. 2-5, Mr. Logical, we run this town. Real talk only, no chasing, no doubt. From the east to the west, it's the order we shout. Mic check, lights flash, game time, stay ready. 2 vets in the zone, keep the pressure real heavy. Big hits, big plays, yeah, we breaking it down. Truth rings in your speakers, every word is the crown. From the north side hustle to that southern flame. Midwest grind, west coast of the game. Sports talk kings, yeah, we wear that crown. Turn it up, let them know it's about to go down. Sports reports, no gimmicks, no clowns. 2-5, Mr. Logical, we run this town. Real talk only, no chaser, no doubt. From the east to the west, it's the order we shout.
It's about to go down.
Yes. And it has been brought in. You are now listening to the sounds of Sports Reports Disorder. Tonight is draft night, getting underway any second now. But of course, we got to talk about the biggest news going on right now. The one and only Giannis Antetokounmpo taking his talents to South Beach. But first, let me introduce you to the one and only world-renowned, world-famous, cool, calm, and collected. You see the name. You know what it is. Logic for your dome. He is Mr. Logical. And I'm down here in the Alamo, your unorthodox statistician. I go by the name of 255. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to it. So, Mr. Logical.
Your
reaction time. You like the trade? You hate the trade? Did Milwaukee get enough? Did Miami give too much? My bad. Before you even answer that question, like, review, subscribe, share, rate, do all the free things, do all the good things. Hopefully with a liquid death in your hand. We are everywhere that you get your podcast. Say less, say more. All right. So, Mr. Logical.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
I would have pushed harder for a Boston deal.
Ooh, I knew you was going to say that. Trying to argue right off top.
I would just would have pushed harder for a Boston deal because Jaylen Brown was just Finals MVP, Eastern Conference Finals MVP, Finals MVP a couple of years ago. And then he showed he could lead a team without Jason Tatum missing with the first 60, 65 games. So I felt like you were in a position to kind of, yes, he's not as physically dynamic as Giannis, but you don't need him to be a hard hitter. It's not like you try to trade a safety for a linebacker. This is a basketball player. So as long as he can get you buckets and lead your team, that should be the only goal. I think the Miami deal, I don't like the rest of the pieces they have on the team in Miami. I don't know if people talk about Pat Riley's cooking. Like, he made a trade for a guy who picked that as the destination. So it's like, okay, I get it. But I think the team's too thin physically and the amount of players they have available under contract. And I don't think what we saw with the Knicks, what we saw with Philly, and what we saw with Boston with Tatum coming back, I don't think Cleveland might be able to retool, but I think they have a nice little core that they can run it back with. I just don't see this move getting Miami above 5. Like, best case scenario, they're somewhere between 5 and 7, which is what they normally are anyway when they have like a pseudo star. So I don't think it really moves the needle.
So for me, right, I'm not saying that the last part of what you said is wrong, but it's funny, right? Because we got to react to this stuff. So obviously, we don't know what the Miami Heat are going to look like opening night. I imagine they're going to make more moves and do some other things. Like, for example, you got people like Landry Shamet and Quentin Grimes as free agents that they could, because I got concerns about their lack of ball handling, now. They said Davion Mitchell is their only real ball handler, while Giannis can, get to the bucket, draw fouls. The defense reacts to Giannis, he can kick it out. But this is where I disagree with the Boston part of it. I think the owner got it right, because the owner said something that I always say. And I'm not saying that he's right because I always say it, but I be right. You know what I'm saying? But the owner said, he was like, or the reports, I should say that he said something along the lines of, I don't want to sign Jaylen Brown, bring him here. Whatever happens this year happens. And then next year he going to ask for a trade anyway. You know what I mean? And that's where it goes back to what I always talk about as far as these superstars, right? Because Giannis was 2 years removed from a championship when this whole thing started. And he was like,
Giannis
I'm going to win
on this team 2 years ago.
Well, no, I'm just talking about his words, though. Because I did when we first started Sports Reports as Order, one of my first 2-5 dailies was, and that was 2023. One of my first 2-5 dailies was Milwaukee needs to trade Giannis because he made that comment about, I'm going to win championships whether it's here or otherwise. And I was like, the writing is on the wall. He's telling you, get it together or get him out of here. And the reason that I say that is because you ain't got to say that publicly unless you're trying to get reaction, unless you're trying to, put a soft feel out there like I'm available. And that's why I get mad at these teams, because they tank their leverage, because they could have traded Giannis then. And I don't know what they would have got, but I imagine it would have been a little bit better versus being in these situations where you got to get rid of him. It's a situation now. He's a malcontent to some degree. And there were reports saying he doesn't want to leave Milwaukee. He wanted to leave the Bucks. So it's now once you get, the same thing happened with Dame Lillard. I want to go to Miami. I want to go to Miami, so on and so forth. And it cheated Portland out of what they could have got if they would have just bit the bullet and traded him.
But that's the old, I don't say the old way. That's the way that a lot of these superstars have done post-COVID. Prior to COVID, it was the super team. LeBron did it, obviously, with the Heat. And then Kawhi tried to build his little, his DC Comics team. And then Kevin Durant goes to Golden State, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie, all in Brooklyn. So that was the phase for a while. But we saw Carmelo do it to get out of Denver. And the same thing that's happened in Miami. He did, whoever organized the negotiation, whatever case may be, Carmelo depleted the Knicks bench just to go and give all of the young talent to Denver. And Denver just kind of kept going. They never really had a fall off. Whereas the Knicks, he had to be the man to the point where he was getting injured because he was carrying his team, and then they couldn't get other free agents because of that. So I just feel like it's just not. We've seen this play before, and we both know that Romeo and Juliet died at the end, no matter how much you don't want it to happen. And I think this is going to happen with the Giannis deal. I don't see this move putting them in the top three, in which when you get a player like Giannis, that's the expectation. I don't see him in the top three of the East next year. Even if they fill it out with some role players, it's just they're going to be filling out with role players who either Miami's going to lose leverage because agents know you need my guy. So you're going to end up overpaying for a guy who's technically a point guard, and it won't work out.
So I understand your point, but this is why I think it's a little bit different. You know what I mean? Because like I said, we're reacting to this right now. It just happened last night. It's all fresh. We don't have all the answers to the questions. So we're just kind of reacting with what we're seeing, and what's there. But the way that I'm looking at this is right now, Tyler Hero is on a 4-year for $120 extension. That's due at the end of this year for him to get his next contract. So I'm getting you out of here now. You know what I'm saying? That's, go ahead, Milwaukee, you deal with having to re-sign him for the Austin Reeves reported deal or having to try to flip him again. You know what I'm saying? As far as Khalil Ware, I was talking the other day about how him and Spoelstra are always bickering through the media. You know what I mean? So now that's a headache out of the building. Yaki Onis is only a rookie, so it's not as if you've seen the best that he has to offer to where you can go, man, we let that go, you know, and then Giannis, Bam, and Wiggins, you know what I'm saying? To me, that has the makings and inner framework of a top 5, top 6 defense at the very least. So, yeah, they might win game 70-67, but it is what it is. You know, Wiggins had a $30 million team option that he opted out of so that he could sign for less because they're so far over the cap right now, you know. And so that's where those tweaks come in, right? So like right now, looking at the projected roster, you know, I'm guessing Davion Mitchell, Norm Powell, Wiggins, Giannis, Bam. So yes, do I think that's a top 3, top 4 seed in the East? Maybe, but I also think that you don't have to be because Miami and Eric Spoelstra have shown before that all you got to do is get a ride to the dance. It's the same reason. Remember when we did our preview this year, you were like, yo, like Miami, like that's playing Central. Like I'm gonna give them a flyer and say they get past the, like, you know, you had them as a regular seed, but you acknowledged like, yo, this is what Miami does. They're the only team that went from play-in to finals.
But once again,
now obviously you don't want to do that with Giannis.
I think they're operating in a bit of an archaic ideology because let's keep it real. Pat Riley is a legend in basketball. Aside from getting Dwayne Wade, Bosh, and James to agree to take less money to play together, what real move has he made that's like, yep, he's really got Miami back? Because this Giannis trade,
none. There are none.
There's none. So that's what I mean. So he hasn't made that move other than, let's do the 15 years ago.
AJ DeBoncha, ladies and gentlemen.
16 years ago, when LeBron around this time of the year did the decision to go to Miami, Pat Riley's done nothing but get superstars in there and then try to run this antiquated 80s, I run the show, I'm not bending to anybody's whim. They leave. Then Eric Spoelstra has to pick up the pieces like Ty Lue and just, you know, give you pancakes out of shit. And it's like, oh, Miami's a good team. Like, no, they just have a coach that really is like squeeze every bit of blood out of the stone. And now when you get Giannis, what are you going to do when Giannis has a tight muscle, quad, calf? You got to rest him because he's your blue chip.
That's fine. I just need him there. I just need him there in May. So AJ DeBoncha.
I still see the value in the move. I see the names moving, but I don't see the value in the move. I don't see it working out for Miami. Book it right now. If they finish in the top 6 of the East, I'll eat this hat.
So it depends on what you mean by working out. Like if you mean winning a championship,
no, I need you top. I'm not a championship guy. Excuse me.
That's why I was going to bring up because that would have been surprising for me. If that
it's supposed to be the champ, like you make a move for a guy like Giannis, who is multiple-time league MVP, Finals MVP.
So do you just not get Giannis then?
Yes.
What do you do then?
All right, you have $100,000. You can put $100,000 down or $50,000 down in a really nice house. Or you can spend $98,000 on the Corvette of your dreams. Yeah, you got a dope Corvette, but you got no house to park in it. That's what they have right now.
Right. So but what do you do on this? But if you don't get Giannis, what's the pivot? What's the move?
I mean,
you just spend another 3 years in the play-in until the next superstar comes along, or do you do you try to get Jaylen Brown? Like, what's the move?
If you were willing to make this kind of trade, I think Jaylen Brown probably would have commanded. Pat Riley had the big better moves. Like he just didn't have the talent on the roster to make a good trade anyway. They just gave up everything that they possibly could to get Giannis. I just don't know how you fill those gaps. I just simply don't know.
Well, that's why I like.
They got Giannis and Bobby Portis, but yeah.
So I think that we as fans and people that cover the sport, we look at these things.
This is just cranberry juice.
You know what I'm saying? We look at these
Just
things in
cranberry
a
juice.
vacuum. We look at them in a vacuum of like now, right? And I get it, right? You go get Giannis Antetokounmpo, expectations are going to go up. That's the way it works. But I see this as a multi-year thing because even when we go back to it, you know, the Heat didn't win year one. You know, the Warriors didn't win as soon as they got the crew together. You know, like the OKC
They
had
won
to
as soon
lose.
as they got Kevin Durant. As soon as they made the big move, they won.
Yeah, because they already had the rest of the team.
But in the
Like Miami
Heat,
started from
when
a
they made
different
the
space.
move with LeBron, they still were number one in the league, and it just kind of floundered away in the playoffs. But it was like you knew Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James were going to be number one seeds that year. There was no doubt
Right, but
about
my
it.
point,
Because
no,
we
but
just
my
said
point
like, yo, you
is,
could put anybody on that team now, and that's what they
no,
did. They
correct.
literally
But
had a bunch
the
of
point
5,
is that
10
they had
guards.
all three.
Yeah.
But the point is that they had all three of them.
Had all three.
Miami is nothing more than Milwaukee with a dude that scored 83 points in a game. You know what I mean? So like that's where the difference is that, you know, say there's going to be other moves. Like I said, we have to talk about it, but until August, we're not going to know what the Heat are going to look like. You know what I mean? Just like we're going to talk about Brooklyn here in a second. Go ahead.
Yeah. I go back to your point of when you hamstring all teams involved in the trade process by cherry picking the team you want to go to, I think that all leverage is gone. So if the Bucks really were able to take a Hornets phone call, a Houston phone call, a Phoenix phone call, a Portland phone, if they were really able to like get 2 to 4 like real trade proposals plus the Miami, like if they had like a real opportunity to make a good deal, I would be more hopeful around maybe some of these other deals. I just didn't think that Miami had the player capital to match giving up Giannis.
No, they don't, and that's why they gave up. That's why they gave up the 3 picks.
That's why they gave up so much, and that's
why they gave up the 3 picks because
that's the
Milwaukee.
biggest problem that I have.
Well, Milwaukee coming before this trade, Milwaukee didn't control their picks until 2030. So that was just something that was going to come with it, where Boston was only able, I don't want to say only able, but only willing to offer 2 picks. They were offering Jaylen Brown, and then depending on what reports you believe, they were also considering Hugo Gonzalez and Baylor Shireman. So Miami still had the better deal, unless, you know what I'm saying, like we're just looking at it from the standpoint of what you were saying earlier, Milwaukee would be getting this player that was a finals MVP that, guess what, wasn't going to want to be there. So, you know what I mean? So here's the next question, Mr. Logical. I got a whole list of questions because obviously we're going to be talking about the draft. Go ahead.
To you then. If you're Giannis, who would you rather be co-stars with? I'm not saying who's better.
Would you rather
be in a lineup with Tatum as the other guy or Bam?
All right, so Darren Peterson, like, number 2 to the Jazz. You know, so 1-2, just like people expected it. But to answer your question, I would rather play with Tatum. You know what I mean? I would rather play, Boston style, even though, because I think Boston style allows for him to kind of rest at times while he's on the court, because you just kick it out to the corner and somebody's going to jack it. You know what I mean? Whereas with Miami, it's probably more of that grit and grind, like more of what you were doing in Milwaukee, which was going to be my next point about how much does Giannis have left? Not from the standpoint that his career is over or anything like that, but my fear for Giannis is he's going to end up with Adrian Peterson knees, because the way that he plays, how forceful he is, he's already 31 now. Not that that's old, but he'll be 32 in December. So it's like, well, what does that look like in 2 years? So that's where my problem comes in with it, is this is going to be a multi-year process, but are you going to have Giannis at this level for those multi-years? That's my question.
Say he plays Steph Curry level, because Steph Curry is over 35, and Steph Curry, like Golden State won that championship when no one really expected it. So I imagine you're gonna still get a lot of production out of Giannis. The issue I have with the trade is that you make this kind of trade when this is the piece that makes this is you getting a pawn to the other side of the chessboard. Now you have two queens. It's like a dominant move. What they have right now is just a couple of good chess pieces, a couple of good chess moves, but I don't think it makes them any better. I really just don't think it makes Miami better, and that's my main piece. So, like, the location might be great, and maybe that attracts free agents, but once again, Miami has no leverage because they are going to overpay for every free agent to fill the gaps of all the young players they got.
Maybe, but there's some good ones out there. Like I said, Shamit, Grimes. You could get a Bruce Brown to do some ball handling off the bench.
Overpay guys, and because they overpay him, we talked about it with Jeff Teague. Like this guy's getting $30 million. You are a second-year guy from the G League. You might be busting his ass in practice, but he's getting $30 million, so he's getting 32 minutes.
So let me ask you a draft question real quick. So we got the first two off the board, AJ DeBoncha to Washington and Darren Peterson to Utah. Now, there was another trade in the NBA last night. Julius Randle to Brooklyn, Nick Claxton to Chicago, and then picks in Mo Gaye to Minnesota. Now, this is the question. So if you're Chicago now at number 4, does bringing Nick Claxton in change your choice? Like if you had your choice between Boozer and Wilson, does bringing Nick Claxton in change your calculus on that? Now, granted, Memphis is going to have a lot to say about it because they're about to pick. Right?
Yeah, Claxton's not a scorer. He's more of an active rebounder. So I think
he's more of an athletic. He's an athletic Capella.
Yeah, so I would go with that'd be like if Boozer does fall to 4 to you, now you have your Cat Gobert combo where you have the athletic defensive big that blocks shots and rebounds, and then you have the scoring big, that's the body to rebound, and you got your little mini version of Twin Towers. Not super athletic through both positions, but 6'8", 6'9", that frame, young guy to put the ball in the basket, and then Claxton's just your high energy rebound blocking guy. I think that's a good starting point. Chicago has the guards, they have a new coach. So I just feel like you're in a position there to try to build. Now that is a 2 or 3 year plan I can get along with. Going back to the Miami thing, Miami needs to win now. Like the tea kettle's whistling. You got to go ahead and get the sugar.
But the thing with Miami, and of course this is, like I said, this is just as of today. This will change as we get down the road. But so as I look at this, the Knicks are still there, obviously, and they're going to bring most of their team back. Now, does Boston have a problem? Because now, we'll talk about Jaylen Brown here in a second, but I'm going to just put a pin in that for the moment. You know what I mean? Atlanta's still trying to figure out what they are, who they are, trying to get a big man in there. You got Orlando, who's going nowhere fast. They got a new head coach. We'll see how that works out for them. Philly still has Embiid and his injuries. Milwaukee ain't doing shit. So, it's not like the East is this big landmine. Now, of course, Cleveland is in the mix too. But so real quick before we wrap this up, what do you think of the trade for Milwaukee?
I saw something earlier that maybe Milwaukee might be geared up to try to trade Ant. I doubt that, but I think it's just something to talk about because it's draft day.
And
I like the move.
No,
yeah.
No, I'm talking about Milwaukee, not Minnesota. I
thought you talking about that original trade. Milwaukee, I think it works for Milwaukee because you're in a position to throw anything at the wall and see what sticks.
Mm-hmm.
You have young talent, new coaching staff. You got rid of your old star. The expectations have changed. You brought in a hometown kid. I think it's a better. I know the NBA and sports in general love narratives. I think it's just a better narrative. I think it's a better position. I think signing Tyler Hero is probably going to be something along the lines of what
I think you
Washington
let
did
him walk or
with
try
Trae
to trade
Young.
him at the deadline.
I mean, listen,
but
everybody keeps
what
wanting
up,
all
Mike?
these guys to score to play great defense. It's just not a thing that happens a lot. I know we have this allure thinking like all these all-time great scorers are great defenders. That's not the case. He's undersized. It is what it is.
No, but
It's like, if you can put the
Go
ball
ahead.
in the bucket and then you get a defensive coach to kind of blend you in, then you go with it. But like sometimes you need a guy to get you a bucket. You just need a guy. You need a guy that whose confidence is unflappable, who's going to get you a bucket, playing for his hometown team. You're starting over. You know, like at some point you can't. I think teams start at championship instead of foundation. You can't build a house with the roof. Start at the foundation. What do we got? Young stars, new coach. The old guard is gone. We're getting rid of the old, the players we have from our championship regime. Small market team. Let's get a team together that the city can rally around and roll the ball out there and see what happens.
So we got Cam Boozer at number 3. I was just about to say that, Mike. This is your moment, So just to let you know, Mr. Logical, everybody's been talking, Debancha, Peterson, Boozer, Wilson. Dallas Mike said that his Bulls about to shake up the draft.
Yeah, he got 8.
Yeah,
he's been posting it all week.
Yeah, so here we go. We're going to see what happens now that we're on the clock. So back to Brooklyn for a second. What the hell are they doing?
There has to be a buyout or something involved with this Julius Randle deal.
But that's what I thought with Michael Porter last year.
I thought Michael Porter was going to play. I thought he was young enough to be, they was going to let him be the man and then have all these young guys kind of play around. But then I remember, I believe it was like Bill Simmons or somebody said mid-season, he's playing so well, winning so many games. So trade him. Because he was doing too well and they were winning too many games and they weren't going to be in the sweepstakes. So
the Nets, by the time the Nets figure it out, you know what I'm saying? Like the Supersonics in Vegas going to be winning 30 games. You know what I mean? So, but I never thought that I would see the day that I would be calling Ayo DeSumo the $100 million man. 5 years, 112 from the Timberwolves. Jeez, welcome to the world, young man. Nick Claxton to the Bulls. I do like it. I was talking about the Bulls the other night as far as getting bigger, because, with the league, after what Wemby and these guys did to get to the finals, I feel like the league might be in a position to kind of get away from being as 3-and-D dependent. They'll still be important, but it just won't be the focal point as much. And of course, Josh Giddey, you know what I mean? Like is what 6'7", 6'8", and he's the main ball handler in Chicago. So like that kind of contributes to that, So yeah, UNC, fuck them. Saying Duke with 20 players in the top 5 in the modern era. Salute to those dudes, but that's all I'm gonna say about that. But Brooklyn, I just think that. So last year they had 5 draft picks, and they weren't able to facilitate those.
Any of the talent. Yeah, they missed all of the
talent. So now you know what I mean. Here they are again. Making this trade. So you got Porter and Randall, which I'm trying to think of the fit in my head. I don't think it's a bad fit per se.
They're the same player.
But
the ball stops.
But they still got. And that's what I was going to say because they got Jaeger Demon and Nolan Traore. So you got your young guards, but I just don't know if a guy like Julius Randle is conducive to you trying to develop your future guards.
Yeah, I remember I was betting on Denver when Michael Porter was on the team, and it was like his over-under for assists was like...
Yeah, his brother was too.
0.5. It's like, that ball gets to Michael Porter, it's going up. It's not moving around. I think Randall's kind of the same way. You know how I was talking about the Knicks and how those guys kind of like they did what they were supposed to do. Like, you know, they just didn't do. Everybody wasn't out there trying to do what Jalen Brunson does. I think sometimes Julius Randle tries to do what Ant does. So I can't imagine that working out in Brooklyn. However, the logistics for it, I imagine that I imagine that there's some kind of buy and he's not gonna be there. But I don't know.
So I got to talk about your guy.
Brooklyn's got to pick a style. Just pick as soon as you pick.
You got to start somewhere.
You want to play. Just pick the players that fit the idea that you have for your team.
Oh, here we go. Bulls on the. Oh, Mike might have spoiled it from me. I'm guessing they took Caleb Wilson. You know what I mean? Like, so we gotta wait for any shakeups. But yeah. So like, I do like the Nets coach Jordy Fernandez. He's been having them play hard because even though they're a bad team, they aren't like you turn on the TV and they're down 40 or like anything like that. They still play hard. They just don't have the talent. But Mr. Logical, we got to talk about your guy, Tim Dundon. We've been talking about him, the cheap Portland owner and everything. You saw what he did today.
He hired the assistant from Minnesota, right?
Right. But did you see what he did?
I don't know. Did he do something cheap?
He gave him a 1-year contract with an option for next year and an option for the year after that.
I'm not signing that deal.
So he's guaranteed through next season, and then he has an option.
How much is
his
guarantee?
Like saying? $4 billion? I'll have to look it up. But then if he does that and does well the second year, maybe he gets a third year. But so this is my thing about that though. Like,
what about the continuity of your players?
Well, not only that.
Coach, you're setting up the coach to be a lame duck coach. Sorry, I just think that's such a poor. I don't know how this man made $4 billion.
Well, this is the thing, right? This is the thing. Like, he just fired, or not fired. I'm sorry. He didn't bring back Tiago Splitter after Tiago Splitter got thrown into the fire after the Chauncey Billups drama. Got them to the playoffs, a team that hadn't been to the playoffs in quite some time. They were competitive. They lost the series 4-1, but they were competitive at times with the Spurs. You saw a division, and he's like, no, I don't want to pay you.
Double digits game 4. Yeah, they were up double digits in game 4. They could have tied if they could have kept that lead.
Yeah, so you got Caleb Wilson here at number 4 with the Bulls. So everything is chalk so far, Mr. Logical. What are some of you, before we move on, what are some of your reactions to this chalk that we've seen?
Well, just getting the best player available is probably the smartest thing for teams who are drafting this position. Like, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You have multiple holes to fill. So just get the best guy.
It's Pride Month. We ain't doing no pause. No pause. No, he can't shoot. He can't defend either, Mike. Like, he's straight up like a 6'9", 6'10" version of Darius Acuff on defense. But he's one of these dudes that they upset me, right? Because I can see the development as far as the frame, the athleticism. He is super competitive according to, the people in the know, the people that have done the interviews with him and all those type of things. But I want to see you do it before I bring you into my team, right? Like, before I give you a promotion, I want to see that you can perform the responsibilities of this new role. I don't want to give you the promotion and then allow you to figure it out. And yeah, people are calling him KG. I don't know why. I don't see that. You know what I mean? But anyway, Mr. Logical, you were talking about the chalk and
well, I mean, like
best
I said,
player available.
Best player available. You take that guy that's available. Basketball is one of those sports where just having that guy can change your franchise. So don't overthink it. You have
that's why I think Utah is complete.
5. But that depends on how those conversations went with Darren Peterson. I don't know if it just was a lot of a smoke screen to talk about he was only going to try out for Washington if he just wanted to be the number one pick. But I think Utah.
That's the way it sounds.
I don't know if they would have. Yeah, I think he just wanted to be a number one pick over AJ. But yeah, I think Washington got it right. I think Utah, like I said, they took the best player available. Hopefully, and we talked about this during the season, is like if his health and cramping was so bad during the if his health was so bad during the college basketball season where he was playing like 30 something games, how's he gonna hold up for 82 games? So if they squared that away, then if they did their due diligence and it's worked out, I think it's a good pick. But if he's gonna be out here low managing as a rookie, I think it's going to have Utah once again. Well, granted, because of the new rules, they can't get another top pick. But I don't know.
See, this is the.
I hope it works out.
This is the pick that I've been waiting for. You know, the Clippers on the clock. The pick is in. You know, this is where I told you I thought the draft was going to start. Obviously, because the first four were out of the way, and now anything can happen. Because the Clippers could take Wagler. Keaton Wagner, they could take Michael Brown. You know, they could surprise everybody and take a Dai Mara, considering that, not saying that they would or should, but they did trade Zubac. You know what I mean? You know, what are they going to do with Kawhi? You know, this pick might tell us a little bit about that, you know, and Brooklyn is in line to get Darius Acuff. So this is where I was talking about, is Sacramento going to try to get to 5 to cock block Brooklyn? You know what I'm saying? But so far, it looks like we're just going to stay. So here's the pick right now. Keaton Wagler, you know what I'm saying, University of Illinois. And I think that's it was either him or Berries because they got Darius Garland. So getting Acuff doesn't make sense there.
Yeah, you can't have
Michael Brown.
Guards.
Yeah, Michael Brown, you know, who I do like. I just don't see the fit, you know what I mean? And that's why I think Brooklyn, he would be a good pick for Brooklyn as well. Acuff is better. But that's why I said if I was Brooklyn, I would look at one of those two from the standpoint of, because no matter what, right? Like, you got to be smart. But it's Brooklyn. This is New York City. This is marketing. This is endorsements. This is like, can we get on TV even though we suck? So this is where you make those type of decisions. And I know you brought up the relationship between Acuff and Iverson the other day.
Iverson's courtside multiple games.
And this would be like Philly getting Iverson, and I don't think they're the same player per se.
Yeah,
I think of Acuff as more of a Damian Lillard type. I've heard some people call him a Jamal Murray type, you know. But I think Jamal Murray has just kind of become that guard that everybody just gets compared to. It's just easy to compare because he's not a star, but he's good enough that you don't feel insulted if you're compared to him. But speaking of coaches, Mr. Logical, as we wait for Brooklyn, Dusty May, you know, head coach of the national champion Michigan Wolverines, is Jason Kidd's replacement in Dallas. But before I get your reaction on that, next question of topic of conversation.
All right.
Do you think it's harder for a college basketball coach to find success in the NBA, or do you think it's harder for a football coach to find that success in the NFL?
College basketball coach going to the NBA, I think it's easier. And I think even now with the NIL, the movement and the money makes it even easier because now you're already dealing with a smaller group of players who have the same kind of, almost like a better word, influence on how you can coach them because of the money they make. And the NBA, everybody's getting paid. So I think you are already kind of locked into understanding this is the role players, these are the stars, this is how the money and the minutes match up. It makes sense to you. College coach going to the NFL, it's a little different because we've seen the greats not be able to do it well. You know, we've seen the greats like Nick Saban couldn't do it. Petrino wasn't great, but he couldn't do it. Steve Spurrier wasn't good at it. Pete Carroll, his first stint wasn't good at it. Had to go back to college, and then he went to Seattle, and Russell Wilson fell into his lap. But then you saw what he looked like last year with the Raiders. So I just think the NBA is easier now, especially now with the money and the movement and the fact that you're essentially treating these college players like 1 year free agents, and you're managing egos, and you're managing the money, and you're managing the influence of the agents and the managers and the boosters. So I think now it transitions to the NBA a little bit better.
So I'm gonna throw you a softball here.
All right.
Who's the only coach to win? Who's the only coach to win an NCAA and NBA title?
Larry Brown?
Correct. You know what I'm saying? So just softball. Just getting you warmed up, pause.
Yeah.
Yeah, no pause. It's Pride Month. My bad. So I think I think it depends on how we want to look at it. I think it's
Take
easier.
My salmon and feta cheese here.
So I think it's harder on a football coach just because there's so many players on a football team, comparatively speaking. You know, but I think that the NBA has the diva issue where the star has to buy into you. You know what I mean? Like we saw, for example, don't make this a conversation, you know what I'm saying? But we saw like a guy like David Blatt, for example, you know what I mean, come in, and not that he was a college coach, but from overseas, he came in and automatically didn't have that buy-in. I think that Billy Donovan is a really good coach, and he's had success of varying levels. But I think when he first got to OKC, I think Russell Westbrook kind of had a like, what can you show me? Like you won at college, but you ain't win on this level. You ain't got an NBA ring. Whereas in the NFL, I think that the culture of football.
Russell never.
No, I know, but that's the point. I know, but that's the point. Like, you know what I mean? It's like so if you're a diva or a guy that thinks you know it all and all that kind of stuff like that. And to your point earlier about Pat Riley, even though he's old, when Pat Riley walks in the room, he just commands a certain respect. You know what I mean? When Dagenot walks into his next job, if he leaves OKC at some point, he walks in with a certain credibility already. You know, versus, you know, Dusty May might have to, depending on who's in that locker room, you know, obviously Cooper Flag don't care, but if they keep Kyrie, for example, you know what I mean? Is Kyrie looking at Dusty May like, yeah, this is the guy that's going to take us somewhere. But in the NFL, I think the culture of football makes an easier transition for the coach because in the NFL, or in football, I should say, the coach is king. What the coach says goes. And you do have your A.J. Browns and your malcontents, but generally speaking, the locker room is going to rank and file. And they're going to at least.
It's such a small sample size.
Michael Brown to Brooklyn.
You can end up completely ostracized as a coach by October if you're not a good coach. Because if you take a loss, right? You get a college coach in the NFL, they start out 0-3. Naturally, his instinct, because he's had so much leverage on college players, is to make practice hard for that fourth game. No breaks, new rules, you know, curfews. Excuse me. Because he wants to instill something. But these pros are like, listen, man, we 0-3. You don't have it. I'm checked out. So you can lose a locker room in a matter of 4 or 5 weeks. And that's what happened with Petrino. He lost the locker room by November with the Falcons. He left before the 13th game because it's just you can't instill like this I'm running the show. But like I said, with a college coach,
I like Mike.
They already been dealing with like I said, the diva transfer. If you don't lock in with the transfer, or your top transfer, or a guy that wants to come there and he wants $3 or $4 million as a college coach, now you have to work that out. So it's a smaller dollar amount, but it's the same concept. It's like, all right, this star player is going to come here for $4 million. Obviously, he's going to want this many touches. But yeah, so I just think they'll
No,
be
not
better off. I think NBA coach will be an NCAA basketball coach going to the NBA. I think it's just a little easier, just because I think the game is different. I think football, college football, and the NFL is so vastly different because everybody is just so good in the NFL, and the margins are so limited that
but
in basketball you can just lean on
I
your best
also
player,
think,
even if you're not that great of a coach.
but I also think that we we talk about in football. Football is football. You know what I mean? In these coaches in college, I think have that adjustment because we always talk about the system is the star, not you. So I think that plays a role too. But no, I wouldn't take Michael Brown over Darius Acuff, Mike. But if we're just looking at this, through the lens of what the NBA is today,
6'5" guys.
like just
Once you
like
6'5".
He's only 190, but say hopefully he could get up to 200. You know what I mean? Like, but I think with today's NBA, especially like you have to be able to switch. Like you have to be able to, because like with the Knicks, they were able to hide Jalen Brunson at times on defense. You know what I mean? And Cleveland had to do a similar type of thing with James Harden.
At the same time.
Right. And Acuff, is 6'3", but he's probably more like 6'2". He's a little guy too, as far as weight wise. So, I understand the pick on a certain level. Now, obviously it depends on what the rest of the team is going to look like, because I don't believe that. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me write this down so I don't forget it.
Sure.
Because I got something else that I was going to think about. I gotta find it again. But anyway, but Mike,
before, 6'5" guys. 6'5" is the new standard for the NBA. I don't know why, because if you look at it, it's not really working. Like it's not, how many new players are really like taking over? Like SJ's been in the league for a long time. It's just a matter of like, can you score when you need to score, and can you defend if that's your responsibility? This having this arbitrary like 6'5" as a determining factor is, all of the Spurs lineup is 6'5" and up, and Alvarado killed him. 5'11".
Yeah. Now, what would be crazy is what if Sacramento, after all this talk, because you always like to talk about, don't believe the pre-draft stuff, like like this is all smoke and mirrors. People are trying to get their guy, they're trying to plot on you, all that kind of stuff like that. What if what if Sacramento doesn't take Darius Acuff right here?
Well, that would be a good hypothetical, except they just took him.
Oh, there it is. Never mind.
Yeah, the pick is in Darius Acuff.
But no, it makes sense because, like I was talking the other day about his dad's relationship with Scott Perry, the Sacramento GM. BJ Armstrong has been gushing about Darius Acuff every chance that he gets. Sacramento, just like Brooklyn, for different reasons, because Brooklyn needed it like a star kind of player just because of where they play. Sacramento just needs a player that can bring hope into their franchise, that can inject, like that Barack Obama change you could believe in, because right now the word on the street is they're trying to trade DeMar DeRozan. And if they don't, they're going to waive him, and the Clippers are expected to jump in line to get him. But you know what I mean? But Darius,
if you plan on waiving a guy or trading him, if the word is out that you're going to waive him if you can't trade him, then just waive him.
Yeah,
what are you holding on for? Just waive him. But let him go back to LA.
But Sacramento needs this because they've been so downtrodden. And granted, just 2 years ago, we were lighting the beam. And, they got rid of De'Aaron Fox, though. They traded him. Now they have a decision to make on Sabonis. Zach LaVine, we talked about his player option. He's opting in. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much money that he has to
$40 million.
You know what I mean? Like, unlike Trae Young, who opted out, I thought he was going to take less, and he got more. You know what I'm saying? 5
Yo,
years,
people
212.
think they think the league is gonna follow the Knicks lead, and they think these stars gonna follow Jalen Brunson's logic of taking less money. No, the league not taking 6'2" guards and believing in them, giving them the keys. Guys aren't gonna take $100 million less so the team wins. It's not happening. These things are anomalies. The mean is the mean for a reason. They want tall players, or they want guys that can shoot threes. They want versatile fours and fives, and everyone wants to play the same style of basketball. And then when it doesn't work, they get rid of the coach, and they have all these bad contracts,
Yes.
and the cycle continues. The bottom 12 teams in the league will continue to stay at the bottom because they're going to make bad moves. Like Sacramento, this needs to go ahead, strip it back down to the bones, and build it
Well, I
back
think that's
up.
what they're in the process of doing. That's why I was mentioning Sabonis. And especially with now, what I do wonder is how does that change strategy? Because now we have that new draft tanking reform or whatever it is. So now roster building is a little bit different because before you were like, hey, let me get rid of Sabonis, let me get rid of this guy. But now you can't finish bottom 3, so you gotta like kind of hold on a little bit.
Yeah, but like I said, like the math is gonna work out that somebody has to finish bottom 3, and if that's where you end up, that's where you end up. But as an organization, you have to have contingency plans, but you also have to have some form of direction, and it has to make sense. You can't have a bunch of old guys with a bunch of young guys trying to play, and they're playing 2 different styles. You can't have a bunch of guys.
That's why I like what Minnesota did,
and no
right?
point guard. Yeah,
that's why I like what Minnesota did because they had to get under the luxury tax, so that under the apron. So getting rid of Julius Randle was just a money dump at the end of the day, especially if they were going to pay Dosunmu what they paid him. But then on top of that, you can put Naz Reid in the starting lineup now. So you get your big that can stretch the floor more minutes. You got Jaden McDaniels, who showed in the playoffs that he could do a little bit more than just play defense. So now it makes me wonder, is time up for Rudy Gobert in Minnesota? They drafted Jan Beringer last year. So like, is Minnesota going to take kind of a gap year, if you will? Because they were coming off of 2 Western Conference Finals trips. This year, it didn't work out so much. They had the injuries. Is next year going to be a gap year to ramp up for the following year? Because I think a lot of teams, unfortunately, are looking at San Antonio and OKC as, this is the battle of the Titans. So, but Atlanta's on the clock right now. I think they could
you're
look
not
at
gonna magically put a team. Yeah, you're not gonna magically pull your team together to compete with San Antonio and OKC right now.
He should have. Yeah,
San Antonio. This is Wemby's 3rd year, and this is their most successful year. Obviously, getting to the NBA Finals and having the type of finals that they had. But they had a couple of bad years with all those rookies. What they had, like 3 years in a row, they had Rookie of the Year. Or like Rookie of the Year winner
but some of that was Wemby being hurt. Like there was a lot because remember he had the vein issue.
Yeah, so like I said, it takes time. So if you're gonna go young, go young. Trade Sabonis to a team that you can get a couple.
Oh, you're talking about Sacramento? Okay, I was still talking about Minnesota. Okay,
just all of those teams. Like just move off of these players. Don't worry about the tanking thing because you could have talent on your team. SGA was a throw-in piece in the Paul George trade from the Clippers and ended up being back-to-back MVP, finals MVP, a dynamic player. He has to stop foul baiting. Hopefully they worked that out because it was getting kind of unnecessary, but still, it takes time to get to that point. This isn't like a microwave league.
All right, so now let's get to the question or the talk that we never got to because we just said I love it though. Like this is just conversation. Dusty May, you like the move, don't like the move?
Well, anytime I see a college coach leave abruptly after achieving that level of success, I'm assuming there's some kind of sanctions coming down. I saw something, but I couldn't verify, so I don't want to repeat
Especially
it.
at that school, huh, Mike?
Especially there. Like, let's keep it real. Especially at these schools where now they're allowed to use money and transfer opportunities to entice players. And I know there's a very wild, wild west kind of, mythology going on with these deals. There's still some things that can be violated. And I believe because the money and the acclaim and the fame and the accolades outweigh the bad, I think guys are taking that line and just erasing it and redrawing it, erasing it, redrawing it, and just keep pushing the boundaries. So when I see a coach leave after that level of success, I'm like, yeah, I'm assuming, that there's some sanctions that are going to come down. It wouldn't surprise me if it happened, because just like, why would you had a formula set up that was working. Why would you leave for a job that's like, we talk about the Western Conference? When is Dallas going to be able to compete in the West based off like
years.
If that?
The Hawks take Kingston Flemings. Kingston Flemings from Houston, another small guard, but they just re-signed CJ McCollum to a 1-year, $21 million deal. So maybe this is the handoff. No, I think that you're onto something there, but I think that as long as you have a talent like Cooper Flagg, you can convince yourself that I just need to fill out the rest of this roster. And that's why I think you got to get Kyrie out of there, like not on some negativity, like who wants Kyrie, but just you got to let Cooper Flagg blossom now and become the player that he's going to become. Now Dallas is on the clock. No, I think that. Well, let me rephrase. I think that he can because Kyrie has shown that he can play with an alpha, if you will. Kyrie would be the alpha in this situation for the time being. But I think that Kyrie is in the way of your long-term goals. Like, he's not going to be there in 2 years. So just break it now. Like, just get him out of there now and start your future. Because
Phoenix?
Because maybe. They got Jalen Green, but
oh, yeah.
But this is where you get into the whole when does my future start, right? Because Kyrie being there might keep you competitive, so you might be close to the play-in. Everything works your way. You maybe get the 6th seed. You know what I mean? But what does that truly get you? It gets Cooper Flagg playoff experience. But how many people from that roster that we're talking, this hypothetical roster that we're talking about, are going to be there in 2 years when he's ready to take off? So they're on the clock right now. So I'm interested to see if they go Braden Berries right here, like the mocks have been saying lately. But we'll see. But I think Dusty May is a winner. I think, of course, I always love to point out he got FAU to the Final Four. He has a certain Sig Nasty kind of attitude, but without being as abrasive as Sig Nasty.
Yeah.
He believes in himself. He's a great motivator. Like
and
Michigan.
He used the talents of all these young players to enrich himself and his family. But the guy
think about it, right?
Go to Congress. They want to go to Congress to stop the kid from transferring, but let the coach.
But think about it.
Move out and make as much money as he wants.
When Elliot Cadeau came to Michigan from North Carolina, he was considered a disappointment. That was why he left North Carolina, because he was a disappointment. Not my necessarily words, but that was the sentiment. You know what I mean? Then you had Dominican LeBron, who played, I think, 2 years in junior college. Then he went to UAB, went to the draft last year to go get his feedback or whatever. And it was like, nah, son, you need to go back. So it's not like he got there and it was like, oh, here's RJ Barrett and Zion, go win a championship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So from that standpoint, I think
that
a bunch of
23-year-olds. So
yeah, he did. But I mean, that's the way you
men.
win. That's the way you win now. You know what I mean? Like that college basketball has gone. One and done is over. With NIL now, put the best roster together that you can. And I'm telling you right now, I hate to say it, watch out for Louisville next year. But Mr. Logical, being that Atlanta was just on the clock, they took Kingston Flemings. Here's another conversation. The media, the last couple of hours, have been placing Atlanta as the favorite to land Jaylen Brown in a trade. So 2 questions. 1, is that real? And then 2, what's next for Jaylen Brown in Boston? Like, they got to split, right?
Yeah, they have to because he talked about it a couple years ago, being tired of hearing his name come up in trade talks.
Yeah, Durant.
And then he
because that was
and then he goes out, wins all the awards, Finals MVP. They win the championship. He gets a big contract, and yet even now he's mentioned again in another trade. Like I said before, I would have put Tatum in these trade talks because I believe the narrative around Tatum is a little bit more positive. I think you're more likely to get that extra draft pick or the player or the phone call back. We talked about Jaylen Brown since the draft. Owners, agents, powers that be in the NBA always feel like he's too smart, either too smart for his own good in their estimation, or definitely too smart to dilly dally in the bullshit that comes along with the NBA. I don't think he's going to take it. So I think these trade rumors of Georgia or to Atlanta, I think just because he was from Georgia, and I think that's probably like just a good rumor to have. Like he wants to be closer to home because he's sick of Boston. But I imagine that a trade to get him out of Boston has to happen because like you can't keep putting me on a trading block, especially at the level that he's performing. Like he was in the MVP running until Tatum came back and just took him out of the running. Tatum didn't play any better.
Johnson.
He just showed up.
Speaking of Michigan, Dallas goes Morez Johnson. Yeah, who I thought was going to be a good fit for the Hornets. I would have liked to seen him go there, but so there you go. Dallas is building that front court. Gafford's probably out of there. PJ Washington probably, close to out of there. Kingston Flemings, I think that he's one of those guys, Mike, that it was dependent on where he was going to go. And I think that having a CJ McCollum there makes that transition a little bit easier. You kind of get to learn how to do it the right way. That professional, he was on the president of the NBA PA. So he has a certain decorum and, respect for the game that I think is a good influence on a young guy like Kingston Flemings. But the good news is that we were talking about Darius Acuff. You don't got to try to convince Kingston Flemings to play defense. You know what I'm saying? He come already ready to do that. And you got him, you put him next to Dyson Daniels. You got Nikhil Walker-Alexander, or as I like to call him, SGA's cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like so the same way that I was talking about Miami's defense with Giannis, Bam, and Wiggins, that front court side of the defense, Atlanta's got that wing locked down. You know what I mean? With Flemings, SGA's cousin, and Dyson Daniels. So watch out for Atlanta. You know what I mean? Like they're the only team that
they can make a Jaylen Brown move. I imagine some of those pieces will probably have to go. So
I imagine. No, I don't think so. I think if
you don't think they would want one of these defensive guys,
I think they would.
If you're Boston,
I think they would. But if I'm Atlanta, I'm like, you better come get some of this Kuminga and get some of this Ricochet.
Yeah, that's not gonna move. I'm hanging up the phone. Like, we're not even gonna have a conversation. Like, if I'm not getting the guy who led the league in steals and another defensive guy, because Boston loves 3-and-D guys. It's like, yeah, I'm not taking the failed experiment. I'm shocked at how poorly these rookies have been playing in recent years. It's just weird. Like how they have zero. A lot of them have zero impact, and they keep getting the same teams keep drafting rookies and like they have zero impact. So it's unfortunate, but hopefully they get opportunity to shine. But I think with Atlanta, unless you are really able to just give them future draft picks and Ricochet and Kuminga for Jaylen Brown, if you can make that deal, to make it. But if I'm Boston, I need defense in replace of the energy that I would get from Jaylen, because Jaylen Brown is a good defender. He's a willing defender. He's a big defender. I need to get at least
So-
two guys to make up for that.
So now we're entering what I was looking at as the fun part of the draft. Milwaukee's on the clock right now. You got Golden State next, Oklahoma City after that, Milwaukee again, and then Charlotte, and then Chicago. You know what I mean? And then if you want to add on to it, Memphis, Oklahoma City, and Charlotte all over again. So this is the fun part of the draft. So I'm interested to see who Milwaukee takes here. I was looking at Nate Ament pre-draft. We'll see now that they've made the trade for Giannis, because now I imagine they just signed him last year, but I gotta wonder where Miles Turner stands at this point in Milwaukee's future plans. So Mike, I like Yaxel to Milwaukee. I like Yaxel.
He's like, go get Turner out of there.
Yeah, I like Yaxel, but I think so. If you go Yaxel or Ament here, I think you could probably get either one of them at 13 as well. So that's why this is interesting to me about what Milwaukee does now, because I think both of them can still.
You don't think Mara's a pick here for Milwaukee?
Well, if they're going to get rid of Turner, maybe, but and I guess maybe they don't even need to get Turner. Yeah, I was going to say maybe they don't need to get rid of Turner, but I was thinking of Mara. I would like to see Mara in Golden State to replace Porzingis, but like we were talking about the other night, do they think of Porzingis as a name? So therefore, keeping him keeps us all in. But Oklahoma City has these two picks at 12 and 17. So I thought that they would have tried to make a move by now. You know what I mean? So Rez, what up, Rez? Saying DeBoncha number 1, Peterson number 2, Boozer number 3, Wilson, Wagler, Brown, Acuff, Flemings, and then we just had Morez Johnson. So Milwaukee Bucks are on the clock. But as far as the Jaylen Brown thing goes, this is one of those things that's a reminder that this is a business, right? Because years ago, people would have been having the conversations of, why does he want to leave? Like, da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, well, if this was the first time they had him in trade talks coming off of this season, they did just blow the 3-1 lead in the first round. You know what I mean? Maybe you could have that conversation, but you were trying to trade me for broken Kevin Durant. You know what I mean? And you've been, and the media has been putting me and Tatum, trying to put me and Tatum against each other since the moment, he stepped foot in here. Then I'm the one that won the finals MVP and all that stuff. Yet he's still the one getting the acclaim. He's still the star. You got people like Stephen A. Smith out here talking about how I can't win awards because nobody likes me. And I don't see none of y'all motherfuckers in this locker room defending me. I don't see y'all. I think Brad Stevens made a statement, but I don't see y'all defending me.
It's probably a disconnect, and it's probably I'll go back to a confident NBA player, especially one who has accolades that dwarf what you can do in basketball, on top of the fact that he also has basketball accolades. It's like they don't believe he is all in with basketball, and he would rather be like his own brand. He'd rather work for NASA, which is all fine. Like, you should be allowed to do that. But they treat it like an indictment. Yeah, see that. They treat like an indictment for Jaylen Brown. So if I was him, the only problem is his contract is so it's such a gigantic cap responsibility to any team that wants to trade for him. But in that team that wants to trade for him, that he has a beef with Boston. It's just looking from the outside looking in, he has a beef with Boston. So you might be able to get not necessarily like a Randy Moss for a 5th round pick kind of deal, but you might be able to get out of there with just, hey, let's just go ahead and split this up as amicable as possible and move on to the 2026-2027 season. So Mike,
see, this is where we get into that part of the draft, right? Where when I think of comparisons, when I think of player comparisons, we talk about, well, not us, but a lot of people talk about how deeper this era is talent-wise than previous eras. So I think this is one of those moments where they would say that, right? Because I don't think Braden Berries is going to be a star or have a star trajectory. But to me, they just drafted Derek White. That's what Milwaukee just did. Like, we're at a point where Derek White is going top 10 in the NBA draft.
Because there's no dogs. Like, you saw that clip. The dude was like, listen, man, if these players' mom don't look like Kevin Durant mom, you're not getting any dogs. You're getting a lot of AAU kids. You're getting a lot of former NBA players. You're getting a lot of guys that just happen to be in the best prep schools, the best leagues around the country. They go to the best schools. You're not getting a lot of VJ Etzkums living off a generator for 6 or 7 years in the Bahamas and, getting it out of the mud. You're getting a lot of like fine-tuned guys that got great training that aren't dogs. Like James Harden is a dog. Like, you seen his teeth before he joined the league. He was a dog. Russell, like, I think these guys used to be like dogs, and now they're just really good, talented players that do all the technical things right because of the way they've been trained up. But when you get them in the league and one of them has to be, you got to fight off Kawhi to get your shot off, it's like, damn, this shit's tough.
Yeah, I think Braden Berries is going to have a long career. I think that he's going to be a guy that just sticks around. He's going to be the defensive specialist. Obviously he's bigger than Alvarado, but that type of guy that, gets dirty, gets his hands in the mud, I think he will have a role that will translate. I just don't know if he brings enough offensively to justify. But, all the mocks had him going to Dallas. So he's actually a pick late going off of what the mocks had. And then you had some people were going out on a limb and saying that the Clippers would take him at 5. So, this is where we are, and now the Warriors are on the clock, but Mr. Logical, there's rumors that Houston is listening to trades. You know what I mean? Like, basically anybody can go, it sounds like. Which is kind of funny because if we start another NBA season with Kevin Durant on another team, I just quit. You know what I mean? But also, from that, if you're Oklahoma City at 12, coming off of the postseason that they came off of, what are you looking to do? What are you looking for if you're OKC? Are you looking for somebody to stash?
I'm looking at who my team am I going to have to pay a lot of money to next offseason, and can I draft his replacement now? So whoever is like due a contract that's like that.
Will that be Hartenstein?
So it's like whoever's due that large money, because I'm already shelling out damn near 700 over like 700 for 3 guys, right? Between Chet, J. Will, and Shea.
Let's see.
I think you're at like 325, 225, 225, something along those lines. So if you're already pumping out $700 million for those 3 guys, whoever's due their money next, I'm drafting your replacement right now. And appreciate your services. Hope you like your championship ring you got last season.
Oh, okay.
So this is where they you gotta keep it real. Like this is probably where you get a young boy out of Michigan, the 7'4" guy. I think he comes in, plays alongside Chet, because we saw that Chet is not really ready to bang.
OKC was number 15 in payroll this year.
But yeah, they're gonna jump up if they got to pay another guy $100 million.
So when looking at the draft originally before the mocks came out, when the tournament was still going on, and I was thinking NBA draft, I had Oklahoma City taking Dominican LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't necessarily you're on a championship clock. So, I don't know if you need another guy to develop because they drafted Sorber last year. You still got Topic, who's a first round pick that is just now, starting to get some minutes. They went and got Jarrett McCain at the trade deadline. So you don't need another guy potentially to just sit there, like especially with the way that they lost this year with the injuries. And there you go, Mike. Maybe Mike. I don't know yet. I think they got one more run in them before they start talking like that. I think they do it one more year before they start doing all that.
Just got his money too. Like he
did.
Just got paid. So I don't know if you're another team that really wants to take it on, unless being 6'8" is appealing, 6'7", 6'8" guy that can handle the ball and score where he does. But I doubt that OKC breaks down their team like that. But I'd say I figure the guy that's up next for a big payday, your replacement's about to get their name called. But Golden State's on the clock right now, so who knows what they're gonna do?
Right. You know what I mean? And like I said, if I was Golden State, I would. Oh, Golden State took Dominican LeBron.
They had the camera face a lot, assuming.
Yeah, there you have it. So and that's what we were talking about the other night when we were doing our mock. I was saying that, I think that he was going either Golden State or Oklahoma City because these are teams with championship aspirations that his level of experience, because in the draft nowadays, if you're older than 21, most teams consider you a liability. You know what I mean? Because you're already in your prime or close to it, so what am I going to get from you in the next 5 years? That rookie contract is what, 7 years? You know what I mean? So like
have you
in
locked
7 years
for a while.
Yeah, in 7 years, Dominican LeBron is 31. You know what I'm saying? And if he's Dominican LeBron, that's if he's telling the truth about his age. You know what I mean? So like he might be more like 33 at that point. So if you're a team like Sacramento, for example, he don't do nothing for you. You know what I mean? Because he's either going to be too good out the gate for what you're trying to develop, or the other side of it, is he going to be a liability for real? Because he's not necessarily the most athletic. He's not necessarily, like the guy that's going to jump out the gym or any of those type of things. So it might take him a half a season to get adjusted, but I think he'll play hard. I think the defense will be there. And that's what, if you're an OKC, if you're a Golden State, especially like, is Jimmy Butler going to be ready when the season starts? Because he went out pretty late with the injury. So, this
probably want to give him till Christmas if you can.
Yeah. So OKC's on the clock now. Dominican LeBron shedding the tears. So I think that's where we are right now, is just, yes, sir. We representing in the crib. You know what I'm saying? Welcome AJ DeBoncha. You know what I mean? But yeah, so with all that being said, is there a team out there? Or actually, let me ask this. Let me go a different route with this. So since El Residente is here, you know what I mean? He shared something last night that I felt like, it might get some juices going. So apparently Phil Jackson, you remember him?
Yeah.
According to Phil Jackson, Tim Duncan and LeBron James are the only players in NBA history that you could put on any team and get them to the playoffs. What do you think about that?
I don't like it. I don't to the playoffs. That doesn't make any sense because
well, it does to some degree.
Kobe on any team and get into the
no,
playoffs?
You can't, and that's what that's the exact person I was going to bring up. I don't think you can.
You think Tim Duncan?
And that's just playing style wise, not skill wise. I don't think you
could put Tim Duncan on any team and get him to the playoffs.
I think you could, because
he
brings a lot of intangibles as well.
In San Antonio, yeah, I think he played great there, but I don't think you.
Well, I think I said something similar to this the other night. You know, we can look back on a team like San Antonio with revisionist history because we have the results in front of us. So,
Correct.
like, you got Ginobili, Parker, that nobody had high expectations for besides their families, and they became perennial champions. They won titles with Steven Jackson getting a lot of minutes. Then he did it with the different version because he did it with the old school with David Robinson and
but I don't
Avery
think that
Johnson.
was Tim Duncan. I don't think the offense and the team was like molded around Tim Duncan. I just think Tim Duncan was the best player for that style of offense. I just don't know
he's
if
the
that really
anchor.
translated. Yeah,
he's
but
the anchor, and he's unselfish,
style offense,
and he's culture.
Yeah, I think he's a great player. I don't think the way he played.
That's fine, Mike. They got 5 of them. They ain't got
to every like team. I mean, so it's like,
oh, my bad, Riz. My bad. I got the quote wrong, but same.
Trying to
I mean, but hey, you know what? You got to make the playoffs to be a contender.
I don't know. I mean, I think prime Jordan going to any team in that 8-year window where like the Bulls were to include his 2 years where he wouldn't play baseball. I think you could put Jordan on any team in the league in that time frame.
I don't know about Dirk. But he's saying every team, like, period. Like, not just that era, but like all the way through.
All the way through their whole career, not Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan was a rotational player towards the end.
I took it, and maybe you could correct me, Rez. I took it to mean any team in NBA history. That's the way I took it.
No, I think he meant like any team while they were playing. Like while Tim Duncan was in the league, you could put him on any team while he was in the league, just like you could put LeBron on any team while he was in the league and make him contender. I think you could put Jordan on any team in the league while he, unless you're talking about for the entirety of your career, but even with that, Tim Duncan towards the end was a little different.
I don't know about
make
Dirk.
that argument with LeBron.
I don't know about
Dirk because Dirk doesn't anchor you defensively. Like LeBron can anchor you defensively. He can lead you in the offensive categories. He can rebound. He can.
But we're talking about contenders, Mike. We're not saying that they automatically win the championship.
Yeah, I think he can start. He gets the rebound. I think he can dribble it all the way up court, get to the bucket because you can't defend him coming downhill. I think he can pull up. I think he can make the right pass. I think he can do all those things. But I feel like Jordan. I think Jordan could be a Jordan. I'm trying to think contender. Healthy Grant Hill. I just don't want to be disrespectful to guys in the league. I think Magic. I think what Magic was able to do. I think Jason Kidd proved it. I think Jason Kidd made every team. Anytime he had like a
Jason
team,
Kidd, Chris Paul,
contender. Yeah.
Chris Paul didn't necessarily make him contender.
Not making
but
a
he definitely,
yeah, but like
he definitely improved
Jason
him
Kidd
though.
made him contender. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's OKC with another Michigan player, Adai Mara. The guy that's the same size as Wemby. So he might weigh as much as Wemby too.
No, I think he's a little bigger than Wemby.
You know what I mean? But so there you go. There's the first of OKC's 2 picks. I like it. You know what I mean? Even though they did draft Sober last year, but he could probably play the 4. Rez is adding Jason Kidd to that list.
Yeah.
And Mike agrees with that, and CP3 as well. What about somebody like
Shaq?
Jokic,
Shaq. Well, Shaq chased all those rings all those years and but I mean, it felt like I don't understand the context of it, but if he's talking about prime these players, then yeah, I think it's a lot more players. Julius Irvin. I think Barkley in his prime could go to any team, but
Well, we like for the
yeah,
Kobe point, what I'm saying? For the Kobe point, we
I
saw
still
how
think
bad
Kobe.
those teams. Well, we saw how bad those teams were with Smush Parker and Chris Mim, and how bad they were. They were the 8th seed. With him even averaging 35 points a game. So I don't know if he falls into that just from a playing style standpoint more than. And that's not to shit on his skills because he is who he is.
But that
What about
shows in
What about
terms of
Magic? What about Magic?
yeah. I said
Oh,
Magic.
did you say Magic? Okay, my bad. I
I
missed
said
that. My
Magic
bad.
and Jason Kidd. I think are it, but they got real quick. They got Mara at 7'4", 7'3" barefoot, 260. So
Yeah, they had
that's
Wemby 7'3" barefoot.
and then but Wemby's 240. When I like the NBA Finals, they put up and said he was 240.
All right, you
So
ready for this one? You ready for this one?
let's hear it.
What about the foul baiter?
SGA?
Yeah, can I put him on teams and get a contender?
No, because he doesn't. I'm not sure what he does. If we saw what it looked like without Jay Will and when Chet was kind of just flailing in Game 7. He had a bunch. He had a lot of bad
He
turnovers
performed.
in those moments. Yeah, he performed, but he didn't have that. It just seemed. I don't know. I don't think you could put him anywhere. I don't think you could put him on Sacramento right now and they'd be a contender next year.
Okay. I had another name in mind, but I just
Yeah, because his playing style doesn't get everybody involved like that. Like the way he plays, like OKC's playing style, moving the ball, guys shooting threes, but like SGA in of itself he doesn't create offense for other players, which is I think that's important
Mike,
to be a contender.
I promise I'm not trying to fight, Mike. I'm not trying to fight. Hey, what we doing with Scottie Pippen though?
I think Scottie Pippen joining any team, any guy that never made a deep playoff run because they were the man. Like, give me your Carmelos, your T Max, Anthony Hardaways. You put prime Scottie Pippen alongside those guys, I think it changes. The same way he changed the Bulls, I think he does that for every team. But he has to go,
but not him independent of himself.
Not him, and he has to go with the guy who. I'm not saying Jordan could give it a hump, but
cover your ears, Mike.
There's a lot of focus on Jordan. So getting Pippen there, I think he could do that if he went to a team like that.
Kevin Durant.
No. We've seen it.
Well, see, the reason I brought up Kevin Durant is, because Mike brought up Dirk earlier. And I kind of view them the same in this type of conversation. Obviously, KD can dribble and do some other things, but yeah. I kind of view. See, we done got him started now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he changed the Bulls. Like, you know what I mean? Like he allowed Jordan to be able. He allowed Jordan to be able to
be Air Jordan. Yeah,
not have to guard. Some of these guys all the time. You know what I mean? Like for example, to the point about SGA. SGA can't do what he does without J-Dub. You know what I'm saying? Even though J-Dub isn't necessarily this great player, it just works. You know what I mean? We saw Jaylen Brown without Tatum this year. How does Tatum look without Jaylen Brown? So I would say that to some degree, they change things for each other. You know what I'm saying? In that type of situation. That doesn't mean that you got to knock the other person. Like, this is not by saying that, it's not a knock on Jordan. It's not saying that Jordan wasn't as great as he was, but it's almost like a lesser version of my Draymond point of like, he saved a lot of what Steph had to go through. Running the offense, initiating the offense, being able to spot up versus having the responsibility of setting up this offense. He probably added 2 or 3 years to Steph's career.
Yeah, if Steph is bringing the ball up and Draymond is setting that pick and roll, and then Steph tries to get the ball back, it's probably taxing energy wise, but Steph can just kind of get to the baseline and then wait for Draymond to get the pass from whomever brought the ball across half court, and then work his action from there, where he can get the little slip screen and he bounces between his legs and little brush screens. Yeah, but
hey,
yeah,
why y'all playing? Why y'all playing? I know we be talking all that shit. While we playing, I know we be talking all that shit. But James Harden could probably go on this list too, because he gets teams deep.
Nah.
And when you look at the teams that some of the teams that he was on, if you look at some of the teams that he was on, you know what I mean? As far as like, it's easy to be like, oh, look at CP3. But there was a whole lot of Trevor Ariza, you know, Clint Capella. It wasn't like they were stacked. You know what I mean? And then, like, he went to Cleveland this year, you know, with what, 20 games to go? They made the NBA Finals. You know, like,
if you're talking about,
I don't think they make the NBA Finals with Garland per se.
I think if you're talking about James Harden, the way he was playing in Houston, if he kept playing like that, then I believe we can have a little. You could have, you know, another feather in your argument with that. But it's like the fact that he even changed his playing style to try to join all his other teams, and then like the success just never. He never amassed the success he had in Houston. That's
well, I think he did the same thing. I think he did the same thing Durant did to some degree.
No, I think Durant
just
does
on a
what
lesser.
Durant does.
No, I just
Durant
mean on
does 27, 8, and 7.
No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. I mean,
okay.
As far as like trying to get the championship, like, you know, it was one of those things where ring culture. So like, I gotta join up.
But Kevin Durant didn't change. Kevin Durant just brought his basketball to your team. Like when Kevin Durant got to Golden State, he just did what Kevin Durant did with way more space.
Well, that's because the defense were trying to stop a dude from shooting from 85 feet.
Stopping the other guys. Yeah, so and that's the thing. So when James Harden got to Brooklyn, he didn't do what he was doing in Houston when he got to Brooklyn. Like he went straight from Houston to Brooklyn. It was like he didn't bring 30, 60 point, you know, granted 60-point triple doubles.
No, but I think that's a part of what makes him effective.
Triple doubles. I'm not saying he's not effective. I'm just saying like that the switch up in the style he never got back to the mountaintop of where his original playing style was. Like if he would have switched it up to this 23 points, 11 assists, 7-8 rebound guy, and like he would have made an NBA Finals run with Brooklyn and then left and made another one with when he went to the Clippers. But that never happened.
Hey, what did I say? You know, what did I say the other night about what player and what team I was the most confident were going to go together on draft night?
I can't remember which one.
Milwaukee and Nate Ament. You know what I'm saying? I thought they would grab him at 10, but I knew this was one of those things where I knew he was going to Milwaukee as soon as the draft listed itself. You know what I mean? And I also earlier tonight when we were talking about this, like I was saying that Milwaukee can grab somebody now because, you know, Ament would be there at 13. So, you know what I mean? So there you go. Nate Ament to the Bucks. It's destiny, baby. You know what I'm saying? Now let's see what they do with Killer Kuz because, you know, he was upset about being in these trade rumors with Giannis. You know, he's like, yo, I'm an NBA champion. He said that he's an NBA champion that's willing to do anything to help his team win and could get you 20 points whenever, and don't throw him in there as filler.
I watch him be remarkably ineffective every single time the Bucks were on TV. It's just like he gets the long rebound and he's coming up the court. Like what he was doing in LA when they got their chip, it's like he didn't want to keep doing that. You know, we talk about Matt Barnes examples, like Matt Barnes, like, listen, I played 14, 15 years in the league, and I just played defense. I think Kuzma could have been that guy that just 6'9", 6'10". You could be a great defender, opportune scorer, but he wanted to be a scorer and ball handler and do all sorts of stuff. And like, I remember one play with the Lakers, he came down the lane and did some over the head pass to LeBron that went like over the over the like the second row behind the backboard, and LeBron just was looking at him like this. No, he fell. That's what it was. He tried to throw the overhead pass and he fell down. And LeBron just looked at him like this and just walked back up the court. I was like, yeah, you're done. But that's what Kuzma gets you.
I wonder. So I am a little surprised. I know that, I thought we would see some trades tonight. Like I thought,
never really trades. It's because it's like I thought. If you think about it, a lot of these guys are there because of we talk about the dogs and like these. You're not getting any. You're not getting Amari Stoudemire's. You're not getting Greg Odens in the draft anymore. You're not getting Stromile Swift. You're not getting these super just like, I got to have this guy after 5 in the last 4 or 5 drafts. Like, we haven't seen the guys like who went 6 or 12 or 17 and were like, yo, I cannot believe he fell to 17. It's just been a lot of guys that they draft. They try to fit in a position. And now with the NIL and the transfer portal, you're getting a lot of guys who are just going to play 4 or 5 years of college. And if I could rack up $6 or $7 million in these years of school, I don't even really need to go to the NBA. So this is it's just a testament to like a lot of these. They're just teams are trying to fill out their rosters with this new wave of players. None of them look, play, feel, or have the same level of excitement as guys that, if you think about Jaylen Brown, none of these guys even give you that level of like, whoa, look at the size. Tatum, look the explosiveness to the charisma. You know, it's just these guys are just guys. They're just like really good, talented basketball players. And it's like there's no need to jump for anybody because if you got number 1 through 5, then you're golden. Other than that, you try to get the best guy available that can help you thin out your contract situations or your team.
All right, you ready for a quick game of 2-5? What the hell are you talking about?
Let's hear it.
Who says no? Jaylen Brown for De'Aaron Fox, Carter Bryant, and maybe Champagnie if you need another player to sweeten the pot. Of course, there would be picks involved.
Boston does.
Okay.
I think Boston says no. I'm just not sure what De'Aaron Fox's value is to Boston.
Okay.
I mean, because it's like he's not like really a perimeter guy. He's not really an off-ball guy. He also is not really a creator at the point. He's more like a combo guard that shoots a lot. You know, it's like it's just not. It just doesn't seem like it would work. And like I said, with his stock right now, with the blame that's been assessed to him for the NBA Finals, even though like everyone just kind of faltered. I just can't imagine Boston looking at that as like a good deal.
All right, Jaylen Brown for Jamal Murray.
No. Yeah, I would say no. I would say no emphatically. I don't even think Boston takes that text message seriously if you sent it, let alone
not even a phone call, but a text message.
If you text me that, I think you might get blocked.
So Jaylen Brown. All right, let's see. How can I do this? Jaylen Brown.
Remind me of his age, 28, 27, 28.
Let's see.
But
he is 29, born in October, so this is his year 30 season.
Okay.
All right. So, all right. I don't feel like playing no more trade games, so I'll just name teams. Jaylen Brown to Houston. Obviously, for that one, that would probably be Durant.
Boston says no.
Portland.
You get Scoot and Dame Lillard.
Klingon, maybe.
And Klingon.
No, I don't think they would trade Dame again. I don't think they would trade Dame again.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe
so
Shaden Sharp.
Not if I'm Boston.
Or Denny Avia. He got the complexion for protection in Boston.
I mean, that's
Hannah Steinbach to
interesting.
the Hornets. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
That's I think that's interesting. If the relationship has soured, then I would go get a guy because Denny Avia is trying to get it to the bucket. He's not going to shoot the three. So everybody else is going to shoot the three, and that allows Jason Tatum to not be forced to shoot twos, even though he hates doing it. He wants to shoot threes all the time anyway. Then he's like, I'll take care of that. Like, give me the midi, give me the paint. I'll take care of that. The other four of you stand around here, shoot these threes. I don't know if that – I don't think that comes to fruition, but I would – if I'm Boston, I'm doing something like that. Like, I'm sending – not to be vindictive, but it's like, I don't owe you any favors. I get it. You got the championship, but our relationship has soured. I don't owe you any favors, so I'm getting the best deal I can get if that's a good deal.
Well, apparently on all these podcasts and mock drafts and all these people talking, Trey Murphy is the gem of the NBA right now. But, Charlotte went and got the guy that led college basketball in rebounds last year. Bulls are on the clock. Hannah Steinbach. So I think this was a good pick for Charlotte because they got enough scoring. You got LaMelo, you got Brandon Miller, Concanipo led the league in threes. You're pretty good. They got Kobe White off the bench. I think he's a free agent though, but you got enough scoring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now let's get some guys that can do the other things because the Hornets. If the season would have started January 1st. The Hornets might have beat the Knicks. And,
the Knicks, Hornets, and Eastern Conference Finals, yeah.
Here you go, Rez. Here you go.
How? Were they giving up?
Who's the trade?
Who's
Is that
leaving?
Are you giving up LaMelo?
Leaving?
You giving up LaMelo? Or are you giving up Brandon Miller and I don't know. You might have to give up Knipple. That's a tough one. Bulls are on the clock. Who you want, Mike? You know what I'm saying? So the Bulls probably got to go guard here, I'm thinking. Maybe a wing, because the Nick Claxton deal, I think, kind of threw off the calculus, for everything else. And getting Caleb Wilson earlier, I think, sets the stage. Oh, that's a good one, Mike. I like that. I like the way you're thinking. But if the Bulls don't get him, then if he goes to Detroit, I am absolutely loving that fit. Cameron Carr out of Baylor. So we talked about him the other night. He was the guy that had the awesome combine, the 30-point game. It would, Rez, but it would be must-see TV because it'd be like, there's no way they shoot another one. They might go Houston 0 for 29, right?
They would get 40. They would get 40 nationally televised games because this is going to be a show.
Yeah,
Melo in Boston with the crazy Boston, especially if it works. If Melo and Tatum and if it's working, can you imagine? LaMelo, because we only have LaMelo. LaMelo.
Hey,
we're not going to erase Carmelo Anthony.
I'm here for LaMelo. I'm here for LaMelo Ball against Darius Acuff, 1st to 45.
8 turnovers each.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm waiting for. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. Nothing has been so shocking so far in the draft. I think Marez Johnson going as early as he did was a little shocking.
But to his former coach.
Right. That makes sense.
That kind of dilutes the shock value. Is like, oh,
it does.
I want my guy. Yeah. So
you know what I mean? So you got that, I think everything, I won't call it chalk, you know what I mean? Because Atlanta, they didn't shock me, but taking Kingston Flemings, was a little interesting. Everything else, I think, just fits.
They just got rid of Trae Young because they didn't really like the lack of defense from the small guard. Unless he's really is an upgrade defensively from Trae Young, which I think most players are. Uh, Nothing's really shocking. Like I said, I think teams are just really.
I'm
This
shocked
is
by
the
Trey
realm.
Young's contract more than I'm shocked about anything that happened tonight.
Like I said, I didn't think guys were gonna take the Jalen Brunson route and take less money, but maybe 40
No,
or
I'm
50
just
is
shocked.
less.
I'm just
And
shocked that Washington gave it to him, considering, like I said, unless they just believe that he's the veteran to help them move forward. Like, I just can't see. I can't
are they
see
keeping
me.
AD?
That's to be determined because he wants a max too, and you can't max both of them. I think because you do have all this young talent that you can kind of pick and choose who you want to keep and who you don't. Like, they better not let Keyshawn George go, for example. But, they have enough pieces to where it can work for this year. But I just don't know what the benefit is next year, the year after, because he's just going to get older. You know what I mean? No, Trey Young's a good player, Mike. Like, but giving him $212 million when you're out here winning less than 20 games is a choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think Trey Young's wins above replacement or whatever, like his win shares. I don't think he's like top 5 in the league in win shares. They ain't gonna go from 19 wins to 45 just because they kept Trey Young. But that's just me. I could be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong. They got Trey Johnson last year in the draft.
212 is a lot of money, like you said, for a team that's consistently, poor.
Well, especially for the NBA that we're talking about, like kind of phasing out these smaller guards. And I mean, obviously, see, that's the thing, right? Like, what becomes an outlier and what becomes a pattern? Because Jalen Brunson just won the title, but y'all ain't Jalen Brunson.
Yeah. Jalen Brunson plays different style, left-handed. He generates and looks for contact. He went at Wemby. And
it's like
crunch time moments is like he plays a little different.
It's like when everybody tried to run and gun with the Warriors and you ain't got no damn shooters.
Yeah, you don't have Draymond that's setting, you don't have a 6-7 point forward that is rebounding and leading the fast break.
All right, don't tell me yet, Mike. I'm a little bit behind you. It's Pride Month, so I can't say the word, but you know what I mean. So we're going to see Bulls on the clock here. Don't spoil it for me. I got Silver talking right now.
I got him. Just waiting on
you. Oh, Mike. Oh, I like that. Okay. Well, I don't know if I like it for the Bulls. I like the player. You know what I'm saying? He was one of my sleepers from the other night, Dalen Swain. I think this guy has J-Dub potential. I think that once he develops a jumper, if he develops a jumper, but I think he will because he seems like he's a hard worker. He's he cares. Like I think he's one of these guys that
how you a guard, you get to the draft, you not already a shooter. I get it, guys aren't like 45% from three.
Because he's like 6'6", 6'7", and was probably just dunking on everybody in high school. You know what I mean? But I think this guy has potential. Like last year, Cedric Coward was that guy for me, and Rasheer Fleming. Those were the two for me that I felt this way about. I just think that this guy is a complete player. He's just raw, like as they say. You know what I mean? But yeah.
The NBA being such a win now kind of league, it's like a lot of these guys don't even really get a fair shake. As a rookie, if you draft me in the first round, like you got to get me out there. Like, I mean, granted, you got to earn that spot, but in the same sense, it's like my value goes down if you don't. If I don't get my shot, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of times they have these guys, they either draft them too high or they don't give them like enough of an opportunity when they get in the league. Or like I said, I think also there's like a bit of a carryover from the old guard of players, like the guys like like even guys like Malik Beasley, Ant's probably a guy that plays a lot like the old guard, where it's a little bit more size and a little bit more aggressive. A lot of these guys are playing kind of like Trey Young. Trey Young is not like I said, he doesn't create contact the way Jalen Brunson does. You know, like guys who play like Josh Hart and Anunoby. There's a lot of guys that are kind of playing real, finesse basketball. A lot of moves, space in the step backs, the way LaMelo plays. And there's those guys, I think sometimes because LaMelo is a special scorer, some of these other guys, because they play that finesse way, they're easy to defend. Because, we know where you're trying to get to. We can push you around. You always been taller than all your competition. Your path has been kind of cultivated. And then you can't get off the defense of a guy like even Derek White. Derek White's like defending the hell out of these guys because it's like this is the NBA. It's a different level to it. Yeah, so a lot of these draft picks, I think, end up in that kind of G League purgatory because it's like
so I think
you're not ready for the old guys because they're still here. Like old heads are still here playing basketball.
I still wouldn't classify it as shock just because I like Dalen Swain, but I am a little surprised that he went this high, but I wouldn't classify it as shock still. So Memphis is on the clock now. I like this 5-minute clock, keeping it flowing and everything. Then we got OKC and then Charlotte, and that'll be the end of our fun run. Saying, the Bulls doing all right, man. The Bulls, but like I said, Mike, remember, they going big. This small ball stuff is over in Chicago. Chicago trying to be the revolutionaries, the visionaries.
I think teams are probably so looking at the Spurs like, we need to get 6'4.5" point guard, 6'5". We need our Dylan Harper, we need our Champagnes.
See, I got to trigger Mike again real quick. He's gonna be, what the people that drafted thought P. Will was going to be. You know what I mean? That he never developed into. You know what I mean? But this is who that guy is. So I think this is a good pick for the Bulls. We'll see how the rest of the team fills out. You know what I mean? They still got Giddey, like I said, Nick Claxton. Caleb Wilson now, so Jalen Smith is still on the roster. So now I think you bring Colin Sexton back to get that scoring punch off the bench. So the Bulls are doing something here, and Thiago is going to make them play defense, because you can't understate what he did in Portland this year. I thought that Portland was going to be a surprise playoff team this year coming into the year. But once Chauncey went away, it was – I didn't know what to expect, and I don't think anybody did. But Thiago came in there and was like, no, we have a mission. We have goals.
Yeah, and he's listen, I learned all this stuff from Greg Popovich. We're just going to do what he did.
Uh-oh, don't trigger Mike.
Make it work.
Don't get Mike triggered.
Greg Popovich
what I'm saying?
A good coach.
Memphis waiting for the pick. So Memphis, Ja Morant, right? What's going to happen with Ja Morant? Is he going to survive the offseason? One, because nobody wants him. Two, because that could theoretically, and this is where you get into all that stuff. Like, you probably can't make the money work to get him to Miami. You know what I mean? But you could probably get him somewhere like Minnesota. But you just gave DeSumo that 112, so maybe not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Ja Morant has the trade value that we all. I think his stardom and his excitability that comes with the way he plays basketball. I think you want him to go somewhere where you see him all the time. But if he's never available because the way he plays, he gets himself hurt, falling on the ground trying to dunk on everyone.
And it starts. From Iowa, remember he had the pass against Florida. I think Mike. I think that I don't know. This is going to be interesting. So Ja Morant. It wouldn't surprise me if Ja Morant ended up in one of these two places. The first, Orlando, because they've been another team that has needed a point guard since I needed hair. You know what I mean? And, Jalen Suggs ain't the answer. He's good to keep around for defensive purposes, but not running your offense, and then the other team, how crazy would it be to see Ja Morant on the same team with the guy that went number one over him in the draft? The New Orleans Pelicans. I say no just because they drafted Fears last year, you know what I mean? But, hey.
I say I would hate to be the New Orleans coach and have guys that went 1 and 2 on my team and still not make the playoffs because both of them can't stay healthy enough to play 65 to 70 games combined. Like, it would just piss me off. Like, yo, really? This is because it seems like no matter what happens, those guys just aren't available for large chunks of the season in like prime moments. We saw in that play-in game a couple years ago against the Lakers, where Zion got hurt after he had I think he just put in his 44th or 41st point.
I don't know if Miami got the money to get it done. I don't know if Miami got the money to get it done, Mike. They already $43 million below the cap or over the cap.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Wiggins just he opted out, but they got to pay him still if they want to bring Norm Powell back. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money. You know what I mean? I think I don't know. What about Ja Morant to Chicago then?
Nah, man. Like, Ja Morant will end up somewhere like maybe Sacramento, something like that, some kind of basketball purgatory. Orlando might work, but I think you got to probably move a lot of your pieces to make that happen. Not Washington, not Minnesota, not Chicago, not Dallas.
Well, Chicago's got a few things. They could finally get rid of Patrick Will. You know what I'm saying? They could get rid of well, not get rid of, but he's been
maybe
get rid of Dillingham. You know what I mean? So
maybe Brooklyn. Oh no, you don't want to go to Utah because you could buy a gun in Walmart in Utah. He would have a field day buying guns in Utah. Like, they have gun shows all the time. I bet you right now, if you Google gun show Utah, there's one this weekend and next weekend where you could just walk in and buy a gun.
Good. Yeah. I think Utah's good because they got Keontae George and they're going to have to extend him next year. But they also have Isaiah Collier, off the bench as well. So I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think, and that's what I'm saying. Ja might have to be a buyout unless Minnesota bites the bullet. But I just don't know what I got to go check the money because, since they gave DeSumo all that money,
Yeah, I can't imagine you got to pay two guys who pretty much play the same position.
That's a good question. But I think Ace has come around on Utah, though. Like, I've heard nothing but great things. Like during this year. So,
just shooting to the side of the mountain.
There you go. What about Ja? So you brought this team up earlier for a different reason. But what about Ja? What about Ja for Jalen Green? And get him back with Dylan Brooks. Devin Booker.
I don't know if that moves the needle for. Like, I just think his availability is just they're gonna have to do some kind of trickery to get Ja somewhere. But you see the trade?
So yeah, there's a trade finally. Bennett Sturts to OKC, another ball handler. You know what I mean? So now it makes me wonder. Well, now it makes me wonder if they're going to bring AJ Mitchell back. And then. Memphis is on the clock again.
But this looks like yeah. So now Memphis is on the clock because OKC just traded their pick to them, so it's gonna be one of those they drafted.
Yeah, and whoever they got is probably gonna still come up there with the OKC hat too.
They better be changing that out. But yeah, so like I don't know. I imagine that if you're looking at like maybe if they do somewhat of a pseudo house cleaning in Sacramento, maybe you could fill him in with the DeMar DeRozan spot. But I don't know how that works with Acuff. So that's I think that's off the table. Golden State's probably not on the table. LA's not on the table, either one of those LA teams. Phoenix, you already have Jalen Green, so it's like why create a new experiment instead of just kind of fine tuning, a player you already have. Dallas, no, because you already have Kyrie, and if you get rid of Kyrie because you want to get Cooper Flag his experience and bringing Ja Morant in stifles that. San Antonio, no, because you already have De'Aaron Fox for another $200 million. New Orleans, maybe, because it just sounds like they're probably the only team that's willing to make like a desperate move.
Ja for Scoot, huh?
It would have to be something like that. But yes, it just would have to be one of those teams that they're nowhere near contending.
Hey,
and they want to just move Ja off the spot.
So Memphis is getting my Tyrese Maxey impersonator, Ibuka Corey. Out of Stanford. I talked about him the other day, averaged 23.5 at Stanford. Questions about how short he is, in stature, of course. And then you got his there were questions about his playmaking, where I think that he was an okay playmaker, but he played for Stanford. What do you want from him? That's the way I kind of look at him. But I think he could be a Tyrese Maxey clone if everything comes to be for him. Good pickup for the Memphis Grizzlies. Speaking of supplemental drafts, real quick, I know this is NBA draft night, but the NFL said, no, Brendan Sorsby, you will have to file in 2027. Yeah, I knew what you meant, Rez, but you said it, so I had to roll with it.
Dude, you know what I mean? You got to face some kind of like resolution to the problem that you're currently like. You need something. You can't just be like, "Oh, I did this thing, but I'm good now." No,
and then the NCAA
someone has to judge your behavior. Yeah, he's not getting.
And then the NCAA finished made the 5-for-5 a rule now. So you got 5 years to play. Basically, they passed it today. So
I like it.
So we'll see what happens. Oh, I don't know about that, Riz. That's nuts. That's ugly. Like so your point about Fox and Tatum, duly noted about how disgusting that would look. But Ja and Paulo, I don't know, man. That's ugly for the other reasons.
It's just not a lot of shooting. Yeah, it's just I don't know. Like I think Orlando, they got the coach out of the San Antonio assistant coach. They should be better off. I would strike while the iron's hot and try to move one of my, Wagner or Paulo in this time. I just feel like I don't think that team is going to be able to get far. So I would try to get, find somebody that's looking to.
This is Orlando that we're talking about. This is Orlando we're talking about. Now, granted,
they never get any shooters.
Sean Sweeney. Yeah, Sean Sweeney was the defensive coordinator, if you will, of the Spurs while he was here. So, they also went and got Desmond Bain last year, and of course, it was the they sent the 4 picks to Memphis. So, you kind of like mess up your own supply when you play those kind of games. Like, I think I would have rather kept those picks and got somebody more dynamic.
F those picks, according to the Knicks.
Yeah, that's the Knicks. He did play great, but until they needed him, you know what I mean. But it just
So you're
depends
up
on
24 in the second half
yeah.
in a closeout game and blew it, and then blew the series. That was crazy.
Yeah.
They were up 24 in the second half of a closeout game and couldn't get it done. Scored 19 points in the second half.
Yeah,
Got
so
dusted in the second half. Yeah, so
they
old
did.
boy was on.
Yeah, remember we were talking about that. They didn't score for something like 20 minutes of real time.
like real life clock time.
Yeah, like they didn't score for like 20
second
minutes.
half points. It was like, bro, you scored 60 first half points.
Yeah.
Like, how do you only come out here at night? Like, how do you get that cold in the locker room?
You know what I'm saying? I don't even know. I don't even know. You know, but yeah, so I don't know, man. I'm waiting to see who Charlotte's going to take care. You know, Toronto, I think might go LeBaron Philon. You know, we'll see, because I think they need a point guard. You know, they beat Cleveland probably if they had Emmanuel quickly. But I know Jamal Shed is a free agent, you know, so we'll see if they want to pay him. I think they should, but we'll see. You know, Toronto's got the big guys. You know, they might have been to this big party before Chicago, actually, you know, with Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, Jakob, and, you know, RJ Barrett's not necessarily a small dude.
Yeah, but he just has almost no shot creating. Like, he's not a shot maker threat at all.
He thinks he is.
His form is still terrible. It's like, you got to be able to, you have to be able to stress the defense. And Toronto just has a bunch of guys that just don't really, like I said, I think it's just a matter of roles and expectations. And I feel like a lot of teams stack their team with guys who try to all do the same thing. You know, you need a couple of specialists here and there. You need a guy that's clearly, this is our bucket guy. Yeah, it's great that you can get a bucket. But right now, either it's Ingram or it's Barnes or however it's going to work. But it's like, we need someone who's willing to go from 20 shots a game to 16, but go from 4 assists to 7 assists. Like, you need those kind of guys, especially when you have the talent. Because what happens is you have this collection of talent and it doesn't work. And then you ship the guy off. And it's like, yeah, you probably could have been better off, but you didn't like cultivate your team to where, like, okay, this is his team. He's the man. We talk about the Heat all the time. It's like, once Dwayne Wade's like, yo, LeBron, you got this. Yeah, I had a chip here before you got here, but like, you got this. Now we're all going to settle into our roles.
So Charlotte went and got the best shooter in the draft. You know, Christian Anderson out of Texas Tech. We'll see if there's a trade there. You know, say if not, then that might mean that Kobe White is on his way out. You know what I mean? That'll be a good pickup for somebody that needs some scoring punch coming off the bench if Kobe White becomes available. So, you know, so the Raptors are about to be on the clock now, followed by the Spurs, followed by the Pistons. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Cameron Carr, you might be hearing your name called in the next couple of picks. But yeah, I really like this Christian Anderson guy. Like, I really like him.
It said it's shades of Steph Curry and CP3 in this game.
I don't know about the CP3 part.
But
he is a shooter to that level. I just don't know. Like, obviously the NBA is different, like you were saying earlier, and obviously he has to put some more, a couple of more pounds on. Because I think I saw him at like 175 or something like that at 6'3". Really don't believe he's 6'3", so he's another kind of one of those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be a good move, Mike. I would hate it, but that would be a good move. You know, the Lakers need all the punch they can get. But the question is, you know, if the Lakers max LeBron and then they give Reed this contract, Reeves, what they going to have left to get somebody like a Kobe White?
They got him 6'1", 180. They're gonna have a. All right, LeBron, I'm willing to pay this tax this year, but you better
Kobe
deliver.
White is a free agent. Yeah, he is a free agent. So, and that's the problem with the Lakers. You know what I mean? Like, you know, is that there's this hope, or I guess they feel like, hey, we got to squeeze everything out of the proverbial LeBron juice that we can. You know, we got Luka. Like, all you're doing is hampering yourself because,
yeah,
you know.
I think the Luka trade was just so appealing, and they just thought it would just work. And it's like, I still think it's a dumb trade for Dallas to have made the trade, but I knew the expectation were going to be too high in LA, and that it just wasn't gonna work, because the problem with LA is like their role players don't play free. They play based off the energy kind of established by JJ Redick, Luka, or LeBron. It's like those guys aren't catching and shooting. You know, Marcus Smart's going to do whatever he wants when he gets the ball in his hand, because he's like, listen, I'm out here balling. But the Lakers they seem to be beholden to like this perfect basketball versus the best shot available. I think they want every play that they call. Because I've seen JJ Redick just go 8. He calls a play and the guy's standing in the wrong spot, and he calls a timeout. He's screaming. It's like, you're supposed to be over here. It's like, yo, dog, just go pick and roll. Go pick and roll, kick it to Dalton Connect in the corner and let him
free Dalton Connect.
So that's the.
No, that's all it is, Rez. That's all it is. But like, you know, I mean, if you want to throw away another year of Luka, then go for it.
But we talk about certain teams, and we talked about it, you know, in football terms. Some like the Dallas Cowboys, yeah, they put talent on the field, but I think Jerry Jones is just as content with them being the talk of the town as he is with them.
Got new ownership now, right?
But it's still the Lakers. They're not like the Buss family should have been like, oh, this is our family team, but they were on that same thing. Like, listen, we need to sell these courtside seats for $45,000 to $50,000 a pop. I think they just got, because if not, you would have got rid of Rob Pelinka a long time ago, because the only thing he did was be there when LeBron had already gotten there after Magic Johnson. He traded away or let the championship team just go, didn't refill it with the same type of players, and then his buddy called him and said, hey, I'll give you Luka on his way out of getting fired.
I really hate when you ask me this question, Riz. I really hate when you ask me this question.
Nobody.
You don't have to get somebody better than LeBron. You get 2 to 3 players that will help you out. You know what I mean? Like, LeBron is a liability come June, you know, or come May, I guess. You know what I mean? Because
I don't think he's a liability. I think
he will be. He will be a liability at some point. Like it is what it is. He's as old as he is. You saw, remember that first half against Denver a couple of years ago? No, I know, but you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the second half, it was just like, that was the last hurrah. Like, enough of you. So you know,
same
like
conversation people are having with Cristiano Ronaldo right now. Like, he's not that impactful of a player anymore, bro. He is 41. It's 17-year-olds.
All right, let me look at these free agents, Rick, and I'll get back to you. Let me look at these free agents real quick.
But with LeBron, I think you as an organization, because even though this is a game, they're playing the kids game for a king's ransom, is also still a business, and having the Kobe retirement game and having the LeBron retirement game and retirement season is probably on their minds as well. And I think that is something that they think about as well. And on top of the fact, like LeBron was there in the playoffs, it's just they were outgunned against OKC.
I think that they could let LeBron go. I think that they could bring in John Collins, Landry Shamet, and a Dean Wade, and they could be okay. Because even going back to the Mavericks team that he made the finals with, looking back at that team, he had Kyrie Irving. They traded for PJ Washington mid-season. You know what I mean? Gafford and Lively. Here we go. Alan Graves to Toronto. How about that? Santa Clara, stand up. The school that gave us Steve Nash and Jay Will. You know what I mean? So it's not like I think like we're looking at this too much in a vacuum. Like, yeah, you're not going to get a guy that's going to come in and say, have the basketball IQ that LeBron has or makes the passes that LeBron. Yeah, but they weren't going to do nothing. Like the Lakers weren't going to beat OKC regardless of how healthy they were. You know what I mean? That's not worth me putting another year. Because like I said, me and Raph had this argument a couple of weeks ago. Luka's about to enter like year 9 or 10. Like this ain't year 5 for Luka where we can piss off this year because, we want this LeBron money or we owe LeBron something, and then we got to figure it out and we got time on our hands. You know what I mean? And Luka, with the type of style that he plays, like he could be one of these guys that's prone to get hurt throughout his career. So you know what I mean? Like
conditioning, but I don't know if that's. I mean, like I said, I've never been fast enough to pull a hamstring or any other kind of muscle. So like I've been fortunate in that regard to that my athleticism has a cap. But with Luka,
it doesn't. Luka, hold on real quick. It doesn't though because Luka would be a liability just because of Luka, but LeBron. If the Lakers were to make it to the finals or the Western Conference Finals, which they're not going to do, I just don't know what you're going to get out of him. But the problem is, so Austin Reeves was hurt, right? Luka was hurt. But you were depending on Luke Kennard, who's done nothing. Say he hits shots every so often, but he's done nothing. DeAndre Ayton, who's impersonating Pursuit of Happiness. Then you got like what? Marcus Smart is a good piece, good defense and everything. But if you had guys that could spot up, because Rui is a free agent now, so you could get a guy where I mentioned John Collins, he could play that Rui role and give you a little shot blocking and give you defense. Dean Wade gives you another 6'9-ish, 6'10-ish guy that can step out and spread the defense. You know what I mean? And then you got Landry Shamet, we saw what he did. You know what I mean? I think you're just hung up on the word liability. The point is the Lakers don't need LeBron. Forget that I said the word liability. The Lakers don't need LeBron.
You're saying it because you think the Lakers are building, are attempting to build a championship contender, and you feel like they should because they have Luka, and Luka's, he's getting older by the month, just like everybody else.
Why bring him if you're not trying to?
Because I don't think every team is trying to win a championship. I think some teams just kind of recognize, like, listen, being popular is enough.
Bro, we talking about the Lakers, man. Like, if there's a team that's out,
we see many years where the Lakers had a lot of Smush Parker and Larry Nance Jr. and they, they're not always just this.
Well, no team is.
But they also
they got the second most titles in NBA history.
Of course, and if they were really serious about winning basketball, they would have gotten rid of Rob Pelinka. They wouldn't have hired all these one-off coaches. They would have offered a real contract to Tyronn Lue. I think they would have done real basketball things, to include maybe moving LeBron a couple of years ago or saying, hey, we're not, but they aren't. And they aren't. And I'm not saying LeBron is the greatest player. Like,
well, that's why I told you. You don't want to be the guy that's known for trading LeBron. You don't want to be the guy. That's the thing.
LeBron. You don't want it, but you also don't want it because if you don't have.
But he's LeBron, a free agent. You can just let him walk.
You can let him walk, but I think it's enticing to have LeBron and Luka on the same team, and the injuries to Austin Reeves and Luka in the playoffs, and just the battles, and like we talk about the fouls and everything, and with OKC and the disparity, whatever. But they still were like those games were like 130 to 114. Like they still were like pretty much getting handled because OKC's team is built with guys who all know their role and they know it effectively, same way as the Knicks do. I don't think the players for the Lakers, the role players, do execute their role at an A level. Like I talked about the Knicks. I think the role players for the Lakers play at a C, a B level at best in the course of a week of basketball. So that Luke Kennard 27-point game, I don't think he probably had 27 total points.
I think he scored like one the game after that. Like
yeah, so
at 1 point.
So that's the problem. Is like when you get Rui, like Rui hit like 5 or 6 threes, but yet JJ put Kleba in the game at the end. It's like you just don't have like Mike Brown knew who to put into the Knicks games in these playoff runs, like the entire playoffs. Landry Shamet is 10 for 12 in the Eastern Conference Finals. He knew what buttons to pull, what triggers to pull, so forth and so on. JJ Redick just doesn't have, like, I don't think he has all the assets. I think he's also kind of handcuffed into playing Bronny, who's a good role player, but there should be a guy on your rotation that comes off the bench before Bronny.
But we're also
if you're thinking about winning basketball, like that's what I mean. I don't think they're like doing winning basketball. I'm not even doing revisionist history. I'm just saying, like, before you put Bronny in the game, there should be another guy on your bench that comes in before him. But because you are beholden to LeBron, which I understand that piece of it, but we're
also to be honest. We're also doing the Matt Ryan Flacco thing. Like, this was only his second year as the head coach. So, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, like, there's flaws there. You know what I mean? But I'm sure a lot of these dudes
behaves like he is, Phil Jackson 2.0. The way he's cussing out Luka, the way he's
Phil Jackson acted like that before he was Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson was he wasn't that demonstrative, but I think a lot of the coaches in the 80s were a little. They had a little
flash to them. They had a little pizzazz.
They had a little to them. A little cocaine in the locker room. They had a little something going on. JJ Redick is just like, it's just, I think LA is so based in star power that the conversation that you and I are having, to include Rez, is about basketball. Rez is like, who are you going to get that's better? You have an idea who's getting better. I'm the third guy in the room saying, hey, I don't think we're trying to win a championship, but I'm trying to sell these seats to the Kardashians for $45,000 a pop. I'm trying to get Jack Nicklaus on the sideline. I'm trying to have Spider-Man, Batman, Wonder Woman, all the superheroes. Hey,
those people were there when Smush Parker and them was there.
Yeah, but I don't think they were paying. They were paying $6,000. I saw an episode of Entourage. He was like, "I paid $2,000 for these seats." Yeah, that was $2,000. Now,
all right, here we go to Spurs. Here we go with the pick for the San Antonio Spurs. Let's see who's coming to the Alamo. Jaden Quainton. Hey, I said that the other night.
Yeah, we both said it. Yeah.
Yeah, get you a center or a big man that allows Wemby so Wemby can go play the shooting guard. Yeah.
He could go play the 2-3. He could be a combo guard at 7-4.
Now the only problem is, of course, he's coming off of this ACL situation. He got hurt at Arizona State 2 seasons ago. Came to Kentucky last year, didn't start the season. Came back about midway through, and you just saw the highlight against St. John's. He only played 2 or 3 games. The St. John's game was his final game, and then he didn't play the rest of the season. So you're talking about a guy who came out with a lot of hype, that was supposed to be one of the best players in college basketball. Here we are. So I like the pick, pending he can actually get on the court and stay on the court, obviously. Yeah. But Detroit's on the clock now. Let's see if Cameron. Oh, hold on. We got a trade. Looks like we got a trade, actually. So is Memphis on the clock now instead of Detroit? So Memphis, they've had a decent night. They went and got Carlos Boozer, with their first pick. That's a great pick. Put him next to Edie. You got a big playmaker, especially if you are going to lose Ja Morant. You have somebody that the offense isn't going to fall apart with. And then, with their second pick, they went and got Ibuka Okori, who could be the other piece of that. And like I said, that Tyrese Maxey kind of speedy guy, get to the cup, like he's a scorer, at that size, he's a scorer. And Memphis is a few years away anyway, so it's not as if you're looking for somebody to come in right away and get Memphis back to where they were 3-4 years ago when they were the 2 seed.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I thought that was going to be there. I thought it was going to be okay. Memphis is back. I was thinking the Mark Gasol, Zebo days. And then they say, you know what? We don't need none of these players no more. It just started letting dudes go. Like, it just – I don't know. I think teams take the playoff losses as an indictment on the entire construction of their team versus, like, okay, how do we retool? And I just felt like,
or this is just a step in the process.
Like, yeah, you gotta learn how to win.
That's hilarious.
But that's unfortunate because they had like when they let Dylan Brooks go, I was like, why? Like, he was obnoxious, but sometimes you like Charles Buck said, you need a crazy guy, you need a guy to play defense, you need a guy to get his own bucket. That's your start lineup has to have one of each. Dylan Brooks was your crazy guy. And maybe he could have toned it down. Maybe it was a little too excessive, like how he went to, what was it, Game 4 against LA and OKC. He was sitting
sitting courtside.
Yeah, so it's like, it's a little goofy, but like, if that's his persona, let him rock with it.
Well, remember, like, when the playoffs started, he was the one talking about, like, hey, yo, we're the team nobody wants to see. Yeah. Even though they were in the play-in.
Nobody watched.
And it's crazy. I mean, they did get out the play-in, but it's crazy. The crazy part about it is because they were 5-5 in their last 10 games of the regular season, and he said that. It wasn't like they went 7-3, and it was like, oh, yeah, like, we got a groove going right now.
Yo,
they were legit 500.
Out of 12. It's like, yo, you guys are ass.
Yeah, like,
I love the confidence.
No, but that's exactly it. You know what I mean? Everybody's in win now mode, you know what I mean, trying to do their impersonation of something that doesn't work. Because Raph talks about this all the time. How many of these teams that go out, make the big splashy move, especially if it's a trade, which one of these teams besides, say, the Pistons maybe back in 2004, and that wasn't even like a superstar, Rasheed Wallace, is pretty good, but he wasn't like a Tim Duncan level viewed that way, at least. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that worked out for them. But, like, I don't know. Like, what other teams
doesn't work?
That's a good point, Riz. Yeah. But like who's the other teams that have made these splashy trades that it's paid off for?
Well, when you
Kawhi for 1 year.
The Celtics, when the KG and Ray Allen deal, because that was all GM driven. It was like conversations between, former teammates that made these deals, the McHale's and the Danny Ainge deals and stuff like that. So that made sense. But the player movement and the player empowerment movement that, they've kind of thrown at the feet of LeBron as this is a reason. Once a guy starts telling his agent, I only want to go here.
Oh, so
then the trades are almost pointless and like they can't be impactful. Like Giannis, like we go back to the Giannis trade. I think any other team would have given Milwaukee a better deal. But guys are just kind of picking their shots like they're Babe Ruth calling home runs.
So we got Okori is now going to Detroit. Bennett starts to OKC and Kareem Lopez to the Grizzlies. if I got that right. Yeah, that's a good one, Rez. Boston with Captain Drew and Porzingis. But I still wouldn't say that like Captain Drew is like, or Porzingis is that level of player. You know what I mean? As far as like
we're talking about the fourth superstar trade or just trades. I think all kinds of trade worked. I think the AD trade to get to LA worked. I just felt like he was such a talent that the GMs didn't make it happen. Like the front office didn't make that trade happen in LA, and they didn't know what to do with that level of success and talent because I don't think they're good. I don't think they were good front office. You had like Kurt Rambis and his wife running like player operations, and then Jerry Buss's son was the other guy doing it. And then Jeannie was calling the shots, and then Rob Pelinka. Just like so, they had a bunch of people who were just listening to LeBron, and LeBron was making everything shake, and then it was working. It was all good. And then when he started saying like, "I want this and I want that," they wanted to try to take the control back, and they just drove the car into the trees. LeBron was telling you who he wanted, and they were like, "Nah, we want this. We don't want to do that. We want to save this 2027 as 2031 pick." It's like you could have had Kyrie. It could have been Kyrie, AD, and LeBron, but they didn't want to make that move because hubris. You think you're the reason that the team is successful. It's like no, the reason the team is successful is because the guy who won 23 and 6 decided to come to your team because he wanted to follow Kobe and he wanted to play with Magic.
Don't you love how like they show these draft highlights and then they're like, yo, this guy has athleticism. That's one of his strengths. And then you see him make the slowest spin in recorded history. Like
playing against accountants in Mexico. It's like, yeah.
You know what I mean? But maybe I don't know if this means that Tobias Harris is on the way out because I know I think he's a free agent if I remember correctly. That might have been a good pickup for San Antonio if you could make some money work. But the Sixers are on the yeah.
I'm staying young. I'm staying young from San Antonio.
Sixers are on the clock, followed by ATL, followed by your world champions of what?
The world. World champions of the world. Because the NBA is, no matter what they say, is the best league in the world.
So what does Philly need here? Because they got a little bit of everything. Like you might need. I
think healthy Philly can be a top 3 team in the East.
Oh! Here you go.
Money is right.
There you go. Healthy Philly or Miami?
Oh, healthy Philly. I don't think Miami's moving. Look, listen. I don't think Miami is gonna be above 5th after November, December. Like by Christmas, it's gonna be like, all right, who does Miami need by the trade deadline? Because they won't have enough to fill it out. They won't have enough to fill out the roster. The young players that they end up getting, like I said, they're not dogs. You're not getting anybody that's gonna give you the same kind of dog effort that you're gonna get from a guy like Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre plays like a dog. Jimmy Butler, these guys like
he's a free agent.
You're not going to get any of those guys, and that's the kind of guys you need when you're undermanned. When you're like, because you're going to be outgunned because you don't have any shooters, like multiple shooters. Like Giannis is a scorer and a playmaker because he's worked on his game, he's worked on his craft, and then he's like, hell on wheels coming downhill.
Like I said, I know we got to react. I know we got to react, but it's too early right now.
Nah, I'm stamping it now.
Go for it.
I'm stamping it now.
I'm gonna wait till we see the rest of the roster.
Exactly. Where are you getting it from?
Maybe you just don't bring one of those dudes back that we were talking about.
You need vets. Like you need vets. You need vets that go and play.
Hey, all I know is, say Giannis Antetokounmpo is the only superstar in NBA history that got traded and went to a team with a guy that scored 83 points in an NBA game.
Yep. And combined, when they score 83 and the final score is 109-96, you're like, man, Miami really needs some help.
So the Sixers
He
need
it back to the Heat. Like that'd be a move, but that's the kind of move they're gonna have to make. But like I said, because
both of them, Mike.
They're
Both
gonna be in. Now you can't let them both walk. You don't have 4 people on the contract. They got like 6 dudes on the contract right now.
Well, no, they got my guy Jovic still,
but they don't have that many guys under contract.
Yeah,
like going into next season. I think I saw something today. I think they had like 6 or 7 guys under contract,
and they got what is it? They got to re-sign Simone Fetticcio. You know what I mean? Like you got to have him.
That just sounds like a.
So I think Philly
a 7 seed.
I think Philly should go Zuby here, or Zuby Ejiofor out of St. John's, or Chris Sinak out of Houston.
Well, the camera was in somebody's face.
Yeah, the camera was just looking at. That's LeBaron Philon that's smiling right now. But you just got Edgecombe last year, and you still got Maxey. You got
maybe they learned watching McCain in the playoffs for OKC. It's like, hey, maybe we can work in a guy who happens to be the same size as our other 2 guards in the second unit.
You know, but I think because I know Andre Drummond is a free agent as well. So if Philly doesn't bring him back, then they're going to need something there.
I think you can get one.
But they still got Adem Bona. They still got Bona as well.
Yeah, you can get one of these bigs that are at the end of the bench from Boston that probably won't get any minutes. Like
talk to me about
Eastern African dude, and just have him just come in and do what Drummond was doing.
Talk to me about they did get LeBaron Philon. There you go.
He definitely has 0 poker face. You better not gamble.
All right, so Atlanta's on the clock now. Talk to me about Isaiah Evans, Mike. What we thinking? No, LeBron would not do that because his ass wants the money either way. Like, so he going somewhere for some money, if that's what it comes down to.
Nah, he's not coming back to Miami because I don't think he fuck with Pat Riley at all. I think him taking them cookies off the plane really settled it because I think he did it.
Hey, at least he waited. At least he waited till he got the championship. Orlando wouldn't let Tim Duncan's wife get on the plane. You could have got Tim Duncan, won the championship, then kicked his wife off the plane.
It's ego, man. Like if you check your ego at the door, like the first rule of poker is leave emotions at the door.
Yeah, that's the same rule for fact fights, right?
Yeah, they negotiate with, we talk about Jerry Jones. Like, dog, you don't have to win this negotiation with a player you drafted. Like, he's on your team. He wants to stay.
This dude got the Roman Reigns teeth. Like, yeah, we gonna see, man. Like, I like LeBaron Philon as a prospect. He could end up, being that guy that Darius Acuff is probably the best point guard in this draft, but LeBaron might end up second. You know what I mean? We'll see.
I like an athletic point guard that gets downhill, plays tough. I think Philly, I like healthy Philly. I just didn't believe that they.
Yeah, but that's the problem. You got as good a chance of seeing healthy Philly as I got to seeing Bigfoot when I go to work tomorrow. Like that's where we are with that.
Yeah, but like I said, I think they're guys that come off the bench. I think they have the type of guys that are used to coming off the bench. They're either instant offense or instant impact defensively, defensive rebounds, on-ball defenders. So anything you can add to that core of players, like I said, I know it takes a lot. I know the load management costs teams money, but I don't know. Maybe you get Embiid in the pool this summer and help them. I don't know. I don't know exactly what you could do, but
yeah. So the Hawks are on the clock. So this could be a Sinak spot. Because Atlanta has to address the front court. I know they were in talks for Anthony Davis at the trade deadline. Maybe that's still a thing if the Wizards don't max him like he wants. or if Atlanta doesn't get Jaylen Brown, like the rumors are saying.
Go get you a 22 or
But
23-year-old and stop recycling these same guys where you got the report. Like I said, the healthy Philly thing is like those guys are already on a contract. I would not suggest if I'm a GM or I'm a president of player personnel on another team, like, yo, let's call Philly and see if Embiid or Paul George is available. I wouldn't do that because, like, I understand the health is a
don't
problem.
tell RJ that.
But being on my team is like, listen, I'm hoping that we can make this work. I understand that. So when teams are calling about AD, I'm like, I'm not understanding the why behind that. It's like you clearly see that he does have an injury history. He's a big guy. He's getting older, and he probably is like, listen,
you know why?
I'm already big, and offensively that helps him.
You know why?
Be bigger because everybody else is small. Wemby's small, Lively, all these other defenders are small. So like it helps him to keep the weight on, but it also hinders him because like it gets him injured. So it's like I wouldn't even make that call. But if I'm the Wizards and he's here and we can make it work without maxing him out, then you make it work. But yeah, I don't.
You know why? And Rez, I ain't shooting. You know what I'm saying? Ish voice. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no smoke. But it's because people are saying, who can we get that's better than Anthony Davis? That's why. That's what's happening. Like, hey, let's get Anthony Davis. Well, is he better than Anthony Davis? No. Well, then no.
Listen, just bring in the Moneyball DVD or pull it up on Netflix and say, hey, I can't get one guy that's hitting 44 home runs, but I can get two guys that can hit 18, but also steal bases. So, like, can we do that? We can play one guy at first and one guy at third, and we're not spending $40 million a year for one guy. We get both of these guys for $18 million. You know, like, you got to be creative. I just don't understand, like, I don't think these NBA GMs are that creative because we see these moves, we see the trades, we see how it work out. Like, we're talking about this like the Giannis trade today. It's like, it's not making any sense.
It
like
makes
a lot
sense
of
to me. It makes sense to me. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously Milwaukee had from the Milwaukee side, they had to trade them. They didn't control their picks until 2030. So now they got a fresh set of picks. As far as Miami goes, you know, like, I think the general rule of thumb is if somebody of Giannis's ilk is available, you should go get them, or you should try to do whatever you can to get them, because even if you don't win the championship or any of those things, you have to try, which goes back to what me and Rez were talking about when we were when we were arguing about tanking. Like, you still have to try. Like, anything can happen. You know what I mean? So from that standpoint, and then, like I said, you put Giannis next to Bam, you got two guys that are perennial in the defensive player of the year race, you know, all defense and all that. You know, Giannis obviously is still playing at MVP levels when he's healthy. You know, Bam scored 83, and Miami's problem was Bam was the best player on the team. Now that's not a thing. You move him into a more suitable slot. The problem is that you just got to get the ball handling figured out. That's where the issue is. But like I said, free agency hasn't even opened yet. So, like,
that's going
to
be
get there.
Your biggest issue, because we saw even in the playoffs what San Antonio was able to do to OKC and SGA, what they were attempting to do to Jalen Brunson, which at certain points of these finals was effective. The way
remember we were keeping track of his shots.
Yeah, the way they were blitzing them with these 6'5", 6'6" defenders, like Carter Bryant off the bench. The way he was attacking SGA, granted, they were like extra attacks because they were like running through him and elbowing him. And like the way San Antonio played against OKC, they didn't play the Knicks the same way.
Yeah,
but
Carter Bryant,
were like cheap shots.
Carter Bryant gave SGA a welcome to the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the league,
but I
young
think
blood.
They were probably severely annoyed with all like the fail, like because SGA was
it's like if you're going to get these calls, I'm gonna earn them.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like you want to get fouls and go to the free throw line, I will gladly send you there with a bruise or two.
Yeah, I would knock you into the photographers, but Wimby was
and there's Zuby Ejiofor. Zuby Ejiofor off the clock. St. John's, Big East Player of the Year, top center in the country. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar winner, the GOAT, by the way. But you know what I mean. But Zuby, Atlanta needed this, because that first round, they were the only team that took 2 games off the Knicks in the playoffs. Now granted, both of them were by 1 point, but they took 2 games off the Knicks. Saying the problem was
3 games in the playoffs by a total of 6 points,
something like that. Jock Landale was hurt for the playoffs, and Atlanta didn't really have anybody 6'9" that they were sending out there to deal with Cat. And and that was what that actually, the Knicks are on the clock now, but that's what made the Knicks what made Mike Brown show the kind of coach that he could be, because they didn't do the same things from series to series. Like, it wasn't like, this is the way we play, and they switched it up depending on the opponent.
They were killing people with the same action. I saw a breakdown of it. I don't know if me and you sent it with Chris in that group. I remember I was watching it, and it was like one series, Josh Hart would set the screen, and then Brunson would just roll off of it, and then he would shoot the jumper. And then the next series, Josh Hart would slip the screen, and he would hit him with the bounce pass for the layup. Then the next series, they would bring OG involved, and then OG would slip it, and then Josh Hart would pop out. It just was like, it was the same action. So if you're watching the film, you're like, oh, here comes that play where Cat sets the screen on the baseline, but really it was a slip, and Cat was jumping out and getting open looks. So yeah, it was masterful what they were doing as a team. But this is here when we talked about Koa Pete. I think that'd be a good pick here.
Yeah, we did talk about that the other day. Yeah, Koa Pete.
Just a muscle, just a big body, a strong body.
Well, I know that, and I also know that Shamit. I know we've been talking about him all night, but Jordan Clarkson's a free agent as well. So maybe this could be a spot for a Isaiah Evans.
Reported trade, but the Knicks are doing some. I think the Knicks are doing some kind of, how do we keep this same team together and not, cost us any money.
At the parade, Dolan was like, "Hey, like the way I interpreted it was, we got the ring. Like, don't get too comfortable."
Yeah,
like not necessarily like we gonna tear it down, but
Yeah, but the thing about the Knicks and the Rangers, who Dolan owns both of them, they're like the teams are traded on the stock market.
Oh, so the Lakers moved up a spot.
So the value of the team changes his net worth drastically, especially now. So I'm pretty sure he's willing to move something and try to hide it in capital gains tax or some other kind of billionaire, how I keep my money away from the government and keep it away from the NBA and keep my team whole so I can do this all again next year. That's Spike Lee with the trophy.
Yeah, so we got the Lakers on the clock now, you know what I mean, with the Knicks following them. They traded the pick. So we're going to see. You're going to see. But yeah, I like the Lakers here to get, another big man, maybe Sanak here, because I don't imagine they could, but I don't imagine they bring DeAndre Ayton back.
Not the way he was pissing everybody off.
You know what I mean?
Just the way he wouldn't rebound. Like, just rebound. Like, it's just, to me, getting the ball, like as a basketball player, you're on the floor, whatever you could do to get the ball for your team just seems like a win. It seems like an easy win. Jose Alvarado had 8 points in game 4, a couple of assists, and in game 5, he had 1 rebound. But like, everybody remembers the 8 points he had in game 4 because he did whatever he needed to do when his moment was called.
Now, I remember him boxing out Wemby by trying to lift his leg.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't give him a flagrant on that. I respect the rest for keeping it simple. But yeah, so it's just like DeAndre Ayton, like, you're out there, man. Just get the rebound, start the break, run the floor, get the lob dunk. But it's like you letting everybody bully you down there because you're not getting plays called for you. Like, bro, you play with Luka and LeBron. They're not calling a set for you.
Yeah.
Just get it off the rim. Like Shaq, like Kobe should tell Shaq, yo, get it off the rim.
Yeah. So they keep showing Cameron Carr. You know, Jay Billis has him as the best player available. So when I look at Cameron Carr, I think I see a little Devin Vassell. You know, maybe a little quicker, but that type of player. So let's see who we got here. There he is.
Everyone's hugging like they don't want to mess up their makeup.
Cameron Carr, you know, and this was probably the closer to the original range that people thought he was going to go in prior to the combine.
Yeah.
But with that combine performance, you know, I think people were like, hey, could he go 15 through 20? You know, so we'll see. I think the Lakers got a good player. You know what I mean? Now,
so you saying the Lakers, or the Lakers are because it said
I thought the Lakers traded with the Knicks.
I don't know. All Knicks background.
Because it had the well, you know, that's what they always do. That's like they be wearing the hats and then they got to go change it. Yeah, trade it to LA Lakers on my ESP on my tracker. But this was one of the things that we always talk about. Like, why is the NBA in 2026 and they still have the dude walk up to the stage? Remember, you were talking about like, yeah, all it takes is a few seconds to print another hat, or you know, like
just bring out another hat and then change the graphic.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, I think that's a good pickup. You know what I mean? Like, I think that he provides a lot of elements that they need. You know what I mean? You know, good defender, explosive. You know, the kind of guy that if you need to sit Luka out for a few minutes. That's what I was just about to say. Because
LeBron don't like young guys.
LeBron don't like young guys. That's exactly what I was about to say. And there were rumors that came out earlier this week saying that Kevin Love might be Laker bound. I don't know if that was just because of the whole 2016 championship team reunion. You know what I'm saying? But Kyrie said, relax. He going to get with those guys in a few days. You know, so
Kyrie to the Lakers?
I don't know. Oh, that's his dad. I didn't know that. So, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then, you know, now we got the Knicks on the clock for real this time. So we'll see. Yeah, Kevin Love is still in the NBA. He was a member of the Utah Jazz. That's probably why you didn't know that.
Yeah.
They might have bought him
out.
Of
TV time for the team from the Wasatch.
Yeah, like he got because he was on the Heat, you know, the previous year, and then he played 37 games for Utah this year. You know, so we'll see. You know, he's still shooting 37% from three. You know, saying he ain't gonna guard no damn body, or like, you know, it's not like he's a big body that's going to take up space or something. So that would just be one of those Channing Frye, you know what I'm saying, throw a lifeline to Richard Jefferson moments. Let me get my guy another contract.
I just saw the Lakers war room. Everybody was in black Laker polos except for JJ Redick. He was just in a gray hoodie.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, just not a team player.
You don't like that shit, huh?
No, I understand confidence and I understand being elite at what you do, but at some point you have to also be a real genuine team player. And I just feel like he operates as if he's above the grading scale of everybody else. It's like, yo, you have done nothing. You haven't, like, what was this coaching job? DeAndre Ayton still doesn't rebound. None of these guys coming off the bench know what they're doing. If it wasn't for Luka averaging 40, 12, and 15, like, you guys would be a shit show. So, yeah. Give me Mike Brown all day and twice on Sunday. I mean,
yeah, so we're down to the final 6 picks of the first round of the NBA draft. You know, draft round 2 is tomorrow. We're
I
going to
can't believe
see
they
who
have a
ends up.
second round all day. That just seems silly to
I
me.
know. We're gonna see who ends up in that coveted Bronny James, Aaron Wiggins position at number 55.
Somebody that we won't talk about. It is
But
crazy that Bronny's getting more run than Dalton Connect on the same team. Is like, you mean to tell me you couldn't carve out any minutes for your first round pick, but the guy from the
well,
same
I think
year
Dalton Connect. I
getting
think
run?
Dalton Connect. It was a defense thing. Like he was missing a lot of assignments and just
Well, you can't learn him on the bench.
this is true. You know what I mean? So we're about to find out who the champs are picking. Then we got Denver and Boston. So let's see what Boston does after not getting Giannis Antetokounmpo. No, they
I'm
show.
pretty sure.
See, I don't know. I don't like
Giannis
when they
has
do.
brother, another one that's available.
Well, yeah, I think Milwaukee let him go. Thanasis go today, so he'll probably be Miami bound soon. But I hate when they keep showing these pictures because the last couple times they've been not pictures, but the last couple picks they've been showing these guys, and that's the guy that gets picked. So, like, I don't want you to keep flashing on the guy that's about to get picked.
Yeah, the whole point is for us to just be as surprised as the audience. But it's like, oh, here we go. This guy just took a phone call and put the camera right in his face here. Don't look directly at the camera. Keep a straight face.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, the Knicks going to have an interesting
one American-born white player in the first round so far. The kid from Iowa.
Yeah.
And then a couple of German guys, a Mexican guy, Dominican guy, and a bunch of light-skinned dudes. A couple of Africans. It's like every year it's the same thing. It's literally the same thing.
Yes, we are the world. We are the children.
I see what
that's what we are right now.
Yeah, so that Haynes Steinbach, he's German.
Yeah, he's German, yeah. All right, let's see. Here we go. Lakers. Are they doing?
Really? Why? If you know the trade is in, just trade the damn grab.
Oh, Sergio De La Rea from Spain. Now we got a Spaniard, Mr. Logical.
Going to the Knicks, so he ain't coming.
So I know Kevin O'Connor has been real high on him. Like, he's been one of his sleepers. I haven't seen any film on him, so I can't say either way. But Denver's on the clock now.
Some of these guys deceiving. Like, I watched the Luka film. Like, not watch, but like when I saw the Luka film when he got drafted out of Spain, it was like,
you felt like, yo, he got it.
This guy's moving differently. Like this, he's creating like 4 or 5 feet of space. In the NBA, it probably is like closer to 2 feet, but that's still substantial. He was moving different. The rest of these guys are playing like what's the boy named Sar? When Bazulis, the guy from Chicago was like Monsters Bazulis, whatever his name is.
Bazulis, yeah.
Yeah. He said, yo, Alex don't want none of me. He said it like in the pre-draft interview. He's like, Alex don't want none of me. He knows it. And like I was watching his highlights, he just looked like he was just running down the lane dunking. It's like,
but how did you feel when you saw those Ricky Rubio videos?
Ricky Rubio was so young, but he was diming people up. Like that travels. A good bounce pass, a good no-look pass on a pick and roll, or a good lob pass, that travels. That's you seeing the floor. But like I said, the Luka tape was like, all right, this guy is definitely different and it makes sense. I just don't know how. I don't know how difficult it is to get back down to whatever that playing weight was he was playing there. I imagine it's probably pretty difficult because he's like a teenager. Like, yo, can you get somewhere to like 220? Can you get to 225 maybe? Because I think the way you're moving at whatever, like his first couple years in the league and that the bubble against the Clippers, like you can get back to that. I think the sky's the limit. But if you're gonna try to be LeBron size, like nah, you out here, you're gonna have to play more like Jalen Brunson and slow it down, get your bumps, get your little midi on, because like you got to slow it down all the way because you can't play that big and try to do what he was doing in Spain and in the NBA right now.
Yeah. So I had Denver taking Isaiah Evans right here. I think that you're letting Tim Hardaway walk. You're probably letting Bruce Brown go again. And I know for sure that they're going to try to do everything they can to sign Peyton Watson, even though he was injured during the playoff run this year. It sounds like they really like him a lot. But then, you got Cam Johnson. What are you doing with him? Christian Brown, like has moments, but he never really has outside of the NBA finals. He played well in the NBA finals, but Christian Brown just doesn't have that. This guy is a part of our foundation. He's going to be, unless you could turn him into like a Caruso kind of guy. You know what I mean? But like he's not. But Denver needs more dynamics. Because
his impact is minimal because he doesn't do one thing special. I just know he was really good at transition points. He was always leading the league in like transition points because he gets out on these runs. But
you got a guy like Jokic that's always looking to pass the ball. Set up his teammates and everything. You have to get him somebody that he could set up. You know what I mean? Like, so that's where like having Christian Brown in your starting lineup comes back to bite you because that's all you're relying on from him is that transition. Aaron Gordon's been hurt, and so I think that's what they need right now.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna do this second round all night draft, but
I imagine the clock has to be shorter, right?
2 minutes, right?
Maybe 3,
2.5, maybe.
Yeah, because I think for the second round, like the first round, I think for the most part you're still kind of reacting. Like, hey, I wanted LeBaron Philon, but they took him, so now I got to try to figure out who's number 2 on my board. Is he available? In the second round, I think you just kind of know who you get.
Yeah, you get the guy, you sign him to 2-way deals, or you put him on G League contracts, and maybe they turn in something that a special player can use down the road. Denver, once again, like they're another team that didn't play their young guys. They played the hell out of Jokic to the point where when he came off the floor, no one else had any rhythm, and they had to put him back in the game.
And they went and got a veteran center to keep behind him. They had Jonas Valanciunas behind him. So, who's a pretty good player. I mean, obviously he doesn't bring.
You just got to have another guy on the floor that can bring, that can run your second unit. I think they have. Did they have Tyus Jones?
They had him at a point. I think they had him at a point. He ended up in Minnesota, I want to say, or Orlando. I want to say Orlando. He ended up in Orlando.
He ended up somewhere else. But you got to bring in a guy that's going to supplement what Jokic can do. Well, so you got to bring in a big that can do the rebounding part. You got to bring in another guy that can, your Jordan Clarkson kind of guy.
Yeah, they got Pickett. Yeah, they got Pickett. They have Julian Strawther, who I liked coming out of college, but apparently they don't like him. But it goes back to what you were saying about Dalton Knecht. These guys aren't going to get it if they're not playing.
Yeah, what I mean? Like, get out of practice of repping the rep. It's like sometimes you got to get these guys in a real competitive action.
And Julian Strawther has a 19-point playoff game, on his jacket. So, I don't even know, why. You know what I mean? And that might be the whole, maybe there's a defense deficiency there, or but that's what coaching is. Yeah, that's what coaching is
for. Like you don't get this isn't peanut butter and jelly wrapped in.
Hey, what Mike Tomlin told him?
I run the coaching. You run from coaching.
Give me the guy that can't catch.
Yeah, give me the guy that can't block. I'm gonna teach him how to put his hands. Give me the guy that steps wrong. I'm gonna tell him how to. That's what you have to do. Like you're getting raw.
You're getting talent.
You're getting talent that needs some fine tuning. There's nothing wrong with that. I just feel like a lot of these coaches just bail on that, mainly because I think the money surrounding the value of the teams, that little 20 million I got to pay you for the rest of your contract is nothing. I can make
Yeah.
that. I can make that money in a day selling tickets for this arena. So I can make up the 20 million I owe you. I can make up in a couple of home games,
Oh, I forgot
and then the
Besar is
split
still
between
out
some
there.
road games.
Yeah, it looks like Denver got Terrace Reed, out of UConn. So another big body, saying that can combat these behemoths. Because now, OKC went and got a Mara to put with Hartenstein and Holmgren, and now you got the Spurs. So getting
So you run
I don't
out
forget.
J. Will, SGA, J. Will, Chet, Mara, and Hartenstein.
No.
Your lineup of death. Not the starting lineup, but like just you know what? Let's protect the paint.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, yeah, because I mean, I think you leave Jarrett McCain in that 6-man role, that kind of microwave guy, and like I said, they did get Bennett Sturts, not that he's going to start per se, but he could get a lot of minutes at point if you don't bring AJ Mitchell back, and you still got to find time for Nikola Topic now that he's healthy. You know what I mean? So like, you get that log jam there. So I think if you're OKC, because I think Topic is pretty tall, right?
I believe he's one of those 6'11" guys.
No, I don't think he's that tall.
I thought he's one of those Serbian like stretch guys.
6'6".
Oh, okay. Well, they seem to have a pretty decent G League program considering their head coach was their G League head coach down there with Alex Caruso. So I imagine their version of their farm system can use some of this talent and develop it, because if Chet plays with a little tenacity, just not even a lot, just a little tenacity in Game 7, I think they win.
Well, Chet is like the new Harrison Barnes, right? It's like if you just play a little average, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't got to be good. You don't have to be exceptional. Just don't be a fuck up. You know what I'm saying?
But I think he was playing. I think he was playing well throughout the series. It's just,
well, he had defensive moments.
Yeah, it's just the way he didn't like. I think not shooting the ball when you're a guy that, first of all, you start.
Oh,
and
okay.
You get the ball a lot. So it's like
Terrence
you should have shot more shots.
So Terrence Reed is going to San Antonio. And then the Nuggets are getting number 35 and 2 second-round picks. So the Spurs got Quaintance and Terrence Reed.
They must have been watching the pod.
I told you, boy, they're ready for war.
You got to put Cornette and Plumlee in the game. Like, you know what? We got you. We're going to go get 2 young versions of the same player. Like, listen, stand out here and defend when these guards come down.
Yeah, now we got the Celtics on the clock. 4 picks left in the first round. The Celtics can go a lot of different ways with this. They could go point guard. They could get another big man, because obviously once Embiid came back from his injury, their chapter was done. They didn't have anybody that could guard. They had Jaylen Brown on them at times, because Cato was too small, Vucevic was too slow. So, like, it'll be interesting.
I think they went away from the Vucevic rotation too soon. I felt like just let them battle. Like, let Embiid. I'd rather Embiid have to battle with Big and at least exhaust himself versus hoping I can just get a guy to defend his jump shots. Like, listen, if he's going to hit that jumper, Embiid is a 50-point, but he's 50 points walking if he gets on. So he is a superstar in this league. Make it tough on him. Make him have to battle with Vucevic, who's like, 6'11", 7 foot. Like, make him work for his points.
But Vucevic just isn't capable of that.
Just bang. Like, listen, man, you got 6 fouls. Just Go down there, hit him, knock him down a couple times, make him have to get that 285-pound frame up off the ground. He's gonna flail. So if he flails, hit him. Like if he does a pump fake, don't try to avoid him. Just boop. Just put your body weight on him, knock him down, make him keep getting himself back up, and eventually he's gonna need some kind of break. I mean, it's just like it's not dirty plays. It's like don't make it easy on him.
Yeah.
It's not like he's Shaq. Like, let's keep it real. It's not like he's down there like he's prime Shaquille O'Neal.
So we got Boston, Minnesota, Cleveland, and Dallas to close out the first round. Chris Tanaka's getting all the
camera time.
Actually, my bad. Let me rephrase. Minnesota is not going to be on the clock because that pick was a part of the Julius Randle trade. So Brooklyn will be making that pick at 28. So let's see what Brooklyn does this time around. I think I like the Michael Brown pick.
All right, so I got the Boston's pick is in. We're waiting on it right now.
Yeah. And like I said, they could go a bunch of different ways. Oh, they took Sanak because they put the damn camera on him.
Yep.
So there you go.
They tried to throw it off by putting it on Isaiah Evans.
Yeah, see, this is about right. He's a project.
Sharp suit, young man. I like it.
Yeah, he's a project. He's a project. But he does have a 42.5-inch vertical at 6'11". You know what I mean? Like this is the part of the draft where you get a player like this that gets to a team like Boston, and then in 3 years you go, only Boston saw that, or when 2-5 been telling them the whole time. I think he's going to be good, like not all-star or anything like that, but saying like he'll be a 16-11 kind of guy, 16-9 with 2.5 blocks or so.
2.5, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But again, when you could jump, what's his weight? 6'11", 230.
Well, you could jump. When you could jump 42.5, you get some blocks. Let's see here.
That's a crazy visual for someone that tall to be able to jump like that.
Yeah, they're showing him exactly 6'11", 240.
Okay.
Yeah, so here's some highlights of him. Like I said, I like him a lot. You know what I mean? It might take there's a block on the first play, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like he'll step out. You know what I mean? Like so that's what I'm saying.
He's
but
a
he's
guy
young.
that they seem to want. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's a guy that make the Sixers come out there. You know what I mean? Like, what you gonna do, Embiid? You know what I'm saying? Or like, I like it, man. Like I said, I think that certain players just end up in certain situations because, because you're as a project, it's like, well, who do I
want to go? You want to go to a team that turns out good products. Like a lot of A+ production out of that. Like you don't want to be a project and go to the Lakers right now. You don't want to be a project and go to Portland. You don't want to be a project and go to Memphis. You want to be Philly. I think Philly gives you a shot. I think even Miami to some degree. I think they give you a shot. OKC is another one of those places where I think you could really develop. And Denver doesn't play young guys. Utah doesn't seem to really get over the hump, and they just kind of keep trading players and kind of getting the same. So I think they get in the way and they stifle the development of a lot of the young players.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that Vsar is still out here. That might be an interesting pick for Cleveland. Maybe Dallas, depending on what they do with Gafford. But Brooklyn's on the clock right now. I don't know because I think they have enough point guards at the very least. You know what I mean? So maybe now you brought in
maybe
Randall
Isaiah Evans here.
Maybe a center, maybe a center.
Imagine that they're keeping Julius Randle though. He just doesn't.
That's what I was thinking too. And you got they traded Claxton. So, you know what I'm saying? I think a big man might be in order here. So Visar could be a good pick here too. You know, and you know, like that'd be a good pick. That might be one of their best picks in the last couple of years. Huh?
That was like that'd be the pick.
Yeah, because like
especially,
Brooklyn.
Like I said, I'm a big proponent of teams go all the way young. 22, 23, 24-year-olds. Let them out there, let them figure it out. Where's Cam Thomas at? Come to think of, young guys that
nowhere.
Now he'll probably end up in Miami.
They waived him, and then he went to Milwaukee, and then they cut him after a few games.
Yeah.
So I mean that could be if he had a good relationship with Giannis.
Yeah. if Giannis rocks with him, he was like, yeah, go get him. I like him. But for some reason, people just didn't. I don't know. He was offered like a pretty good deal, like a 3-year, $45 million or something along those lines. So it's like, how are you willing to give him $45 million 1 year, then you trading him halfway after he rejected it? So it's like, I don't know. And now
I know that he was he felt like it was a slap in the face. That they took so long to sign him. Not that
it's $45 million.
You know what I mean?
Just take the 3-year, $45 million, play for it, get you $18 million.
That's all right. He's still getting either way, I guess.
No, he didn't sign it.
Oh, he didn't sign it. I thought he
didn't sign it. Yeah.
Oh no, he was on the 1 year deal. Yeah.
Yeah, Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn offered him 3 years, 45 or maybe 55, and it's like,
yeah, I think it was 45. Yeah, and then. Yeah, so like I don't know, man. He's another one of those guys that is a black hole, saying not efficient, and he doesn't bring any defense, and he doesn't have that 3-and-D size. So there's just I don't know.
He had a run a couple years ago. It was like 40. He had like a Kobe-like run.
Back when John Ball was the coach,
and then they stopped putting him in the game.
Yeah, but they
basketball is weird, man. If you're
but it was wild.
Other than Bill Belichick, if you're running back and you got 12 touches one game, and you went for 88 yards and a touchdown, and then they give you the next week, you get 16 touches and they got 116 yards, another touchdown. I think the third week you might get 20 touches.
Yeah,
it's like this guy seems effective, but in the NBA is like, nah.
It was crazy too because when they benched him. It was still while he was still doing that. So it wasn't
still hot. Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't like he started slumping and it was a fluke. Like he was still in the midst of scoring 35.
Yeah, he was 35, 40, and it was like, all right, cool. You chilling. He's like, what?
Like, if anything, you could have traded him then.
That's when people would want him. But once again, you gotta be managed properly. You gotta be managed properly as a team to understand like these are the moments where we can make things happen. Yeah. But if you don't have that, that's what you end up with.
Yeah.
The pick is in, even though it's going to Brooklyn, like just change the graphic.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we still behind like this.
Like this trade happened hours ago.
All right, let's see who we got here. The Brooklyn Nets, even though it says Minnesota on the screen. Joshua Jefferson. I don't like this pick at all. I don't like this pick at all. Like, like a lot of the people that do this for a living, like the scouting and all of that, they compare him to Kyle Anderson.
Yep.
He is, I mean, at number 28, theoretically, you're not looking for a franchise changer. You know what I mean? But Brooklyn is a team that just needs a little bit of everything. And I think Visar.
You got to unbutton that bottom button play. You got to unbutton the bottom button.
I think Visar, would have been a good pick here, especially after trading Claxton. I don't know. I'm just dumbfounded right now.
Iowa State 6'7" 3/4, 246.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
he's
see
not
it. I see. I see
the Kyle
I see what
Anderson,
that Kyle Anderson comp.
the slow mo.
Slow, under control, kind of looks like him. Yep, I like it. I don't know what you want him to do.
That
I
right
don't know if you
there.
want him. I don't know if you want him to defend at 6'7" when you got rid of Claxton was 6'10", 6'11". Like I don't know how. Like I don't know if it's an apples for apples swap unless, like I said, let's say plan on keeping Julius Randle. But Brooklyn they just been in such a bad spot. Like Brooklyn deserved to have a number one pick just to give them an easy opportunity. Like
I
it's
just
just
don't feel like they have any direction. Like I think they're just doing things. It's like, hey, tonight's the draft. We got to get somebody.
we gotta get some guys that used to be in college that want to play basketball in the NBA.
Yeah,
Um,
hey, I like his shoulders. Like, like you know what I mean? Like,
like
go get him.
my granddaughter loves to say 6'7", so like let's get this guy because he's six
Yeah,
seven. Yeah,
yeah,
it does seem like they are. I don't know. They have zero star power
yeah,
and probably one of the most popular boroughs. Like everyone
yeah.
knows, like if you think about like
You know what I'm saying?
like
Kings
they have like
County,
those
bro.
shirts when they have like rant like Old Navy will have a shirt or Coles will have a shirt. It says Brooklyn. Like you have like the random shirts that say like New York and the random hats that say New York. Other than that, it says Brooklyn. Like there's no, it's like shirts that don't say the Bronx stuff like that. It's
Queens,
like
yeah,
Queens, like, and they're all obviously they're all like the most popular boroughs, but like they just have like random things that just say Brooklyn's a very popular
well, then they
borough.
went
For them
black
to
and
not
white
have a
with the
star,
uniform too.
like they're not, and they kept it the same way. Like there's, I don't know, it's just not a lot of for a city that has a level of charisma that New York has. The Brooklyn Nets operate a lot like a very plain Jane, ordinary Midwest team. I mean, hell, they got the Spurs colors. Like there's no gray, there's no alternate. It's like it's just, ugh. I don't know. It just feels like,
Hey, I did like the Biggie Coogee jerseys.
which is, but you gotta buy into that. Like you gotta like. I mean, granted, you can't do much with Bad Boy right now with their founder out here in Fort Dix, but just when those opportunities are there, like they just didn't capitalize on the fact that like, yo, you're in Brooklyn. Like Cat even said it. He was like, yo, dudes in Brooklyn celebrating the Knicks, they got their own team.
Oh yeah, that's grand coming from a Jersey guy. You know what I mean? But here comes the Cavs. Like I don't know what you think the Cavs could do.
Find somebody to replace James Harden. Go ahead, let him slide. I don't think they're going to bring him back. Like you said, who the best available? You kept saying Vassar. What's his name?
Yeah, Armory Visar. He so Richie Saunders has been getting a lot of love out of BYU, but he's injured. I think he had a Achilles, so he's not going to be available. So maybe if you're a team like Cleveland, you could draft a guy like that. You know what I mean? Because you're not necessarily looking for immediate help.
A guy to
So,
step
so
in right now. Yeah.
yeah, so maybe you just get him in the building, rehab. You know what I mean? Make a free agent move or two to like shore something up. But they got to make decisions about their front court. Are they going to come back with Mobley and Allen both? You know what I mean? I don't.
I still like that. I still like that combination because I think they provide you the same size, like they're both big, so that you can get rebounding. But that's effort. I like the rim protection. I like the offensive versatility of Evan Mobley. I just think it's a
Oh, we got a trade. The Sacramento Kings are back on the clock. Oh, who does Sacramento like? So, they still got some bonus. We talked about them potentially coming off of DeRozan. They drafted Acuff earlier. You know, they let Keon Ellis go to Cleveland, or they traded Keon Ellis to Cleveland.
Is Trae Young gonna give up number 3?
I doubt it. Trae Young don't seem like that type.
I mean, he's number 1 pick. He's got $212 million. I think you can make a concession for the number 1 pick.
All right, here we go. Let's see who the Kings are getting.
We got Cleveland Cavaliers, trade with the Sacramento Kings.
Alex Karaban. How about that? How about that? The Yukon hero.
He got his number retired, right?
I'm not sure, but he's got 2 national
I think
titles.
they hung it in the rafters. They hung it in the rafters.
Yeah, he was
so they
the guy.
pretty much got the same guy they have on their team already. That couldn't hit a shot against the Knicks.
The Kings?
Oh, the Kings.
No, this is
okay.
this is the Kings.
See, the Cleveland thing threw me off because I was like, you already got 2 guys like that.
Oh, Strus and
Strus and
Merrill.
Merrill, yeah.
Yeah, Sam Merrill. So we're down to the final pick. The Dallas Mavericks are on the clock. We got the champs starting things off tomorrow. They'll probably trade that pick, I'm imagining, but yeah, Dallas closing out the first round here. You know, like, what do they do? You know what I mean? Like, you got Kyrie coming back from injury.
I think they're probably looking for somebody that they can play right now.
They ready to go home. The pick is in already. They ready to go.
Oh yeah. All these people got to get out. I think this draft is in Brooklyn too, so it's like it's just nothing for the Brooklyn fans to be like happy about. I'm probably gonna check out a game in Brooklyn. Maybe I'll make a weekend of it.
Well, yeah, you probably get in for like $5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's definitely gonna be on VetTix. Shout out to VetTix.
Yeah, I remember.
I could probably sit courtside with VetTix at a Brooklyn game.
Yeah, I remember. I got $8 tickets to the Wizards and playing against the Bucks. It was Giannis year 2, so he was still skinny.
Yeah.
And but I paid $8 and I was like 5 rows behind the basket.
I think the closest I've sat, I got like some company tickets when I was in Utah because I got called. They called and was like, hey, if you can get here like right now, we have box seats. And I was like, cool. So I got on the road, and then by the time I was like getting on the road, they called me like, hey, sorry, the guy we thought that wasn't going to show up showed up. So I had to turn around, go back home, tail to my leg. And then they reached out to me like the following week, like, hey, I got a couple more tickets. And it was like row 12 behind the backboard. You know, so I think it was young Steph Curry, so Jazz versus Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was a cool game. It goes by so quick when you're in the arena. When you watch on TV, that commercial break.
Hey, Mr. Logical's guy.
My guy. There we go. Like a young guy can get in there and play right now. Use your athleticism, use your size, your versatility.
Yeah. I think he's basically the PJ Washington replacement. You know, that's the way that I view that. And you get, I guess, that enforcer.
You get the enforcer, and like I said, you just got a coach from college. He's probably going to be more likely to play young guys. I think this could be a nice little setup for the. Yeah, he plays very physical. You got to watch who he hits though, because you can't hit number 1 from San Antonio. You can't hit number 2 from OKC. Who else can you not touch? 7
You can't
from
touch
Houston.
Brunson.
Nah, Brunson, you can hit because Brunson gonna hit you. Brunson hit when he hit Wimby in his river with that in his liver with that elbow. I was like, okay. But yeah, there's a few players he's not gonna be able to touch.
How much?
Other than that,
How
he's pretty
much?
good together.
Last question before we get out of here.
Yeah.
How much? How much? What's the word? Discretion. Do you think they gave Dusty May on the picks tonight?
I think he probably had a lot of input because we talk about this with NBAs. They can't see all of these guys. He's played against them. He's coached against them. He's probably recruited them. He probably recruited guys they played against.
Yeah, he played against Arizona in the Final Four.
Yeah, so I think he saw it up close.
Yeah, so he saw Kobe.
Yeah, so he's like, get my guy from Michigan. Because then when Day got drafted, he was applauding. I don't know if he was happy that he got drafted or he was like, damn, we could have probably jumped up to this and got him too. But yes, I think he probably has a lot of insight. He's like, listen, I've seen this guy. Like, you got the scouting report right here. Like, I was sitting courtside. I saw the footwork. I saw how he was able to switch. I saw the versatility. I saw the tenacity. I saw, how he interacted with his teammates. Whatever it is, he's like, I saw it from the court level in a big time moment. So yeah, I think he probably had a lot of opportunity to voice his opinion and have it heard.
Yeah, so I like Sacramento getting a cuff. They held out for their guy. I don't mind Brooklyn taking Michael Brown. First four was chalk. I don't know. So, we'll see how this pans out. I like San Antonio getting the two behemoths, if you will, to kind of put around Wemby and just, be that enforcer. They can do the Biyombo and Plumlee thing while actually contributing at the same time. So we'll see, man. Cameron Carr's a good pickup from whenever LeBron decides to leave.
How is Desmond Bain the chief basketball officer for TCU?
Ain't that crazy? How's
that a thing? All right, we'll see. You need to be focused on that jump shot there, T-Rex.
Oh, no, he got that down. So he good to go.
So,
he got that down.
So hopefully we can get some rookie impacts. Like I said, a lot of these guys, you better get some dog in you so you can survive in this NBA because there's still a lot of guys out here who are knock you out of bounds. It's a lot of Steph Castles, a lot of Vassell's. It's a lot of, Josh Hart's, Mitchell Robinson, these scrappy guys. Ant's gonna try to dunk on you. It's coaches out there that might try to ruin your confidence to see if you could bounce back. It's a tough. Congratulations to everybody that got drafted. It sucks that some of y'all wearing the hats of the teams you're not going to in your pictures, but
that's funny.
Well, congratulations to everybody. I hope it works out. Brooklyn.
Yeah,
I'm gonna come check y'all out. Because y'all tickets gonna be definitely cheaper than Knicks tickets.
Oh yeah, that's every year though. Like no matter what,
It'll be $500 standing room only tickets.
Yep. But on that note, y'all, he is the one and only world famous, world renowned, cool, calm, and collected. Born in Texas, raised in VA, representing New Jerusalem. He don't even want the Nets back. You know what I'm saying? He goes by the name
of
Mr. Logical. You know what I'm saying? And don't bring feelings to a fact fight.
Don't do it.
And then down here in the Alamo, it's your unorthodox statistician going left so much you thought I was southpaw. Going so left you thought I was making the picks for the Brooklyn Nets. I go by the name of 25. This is Sports Reports Disorder. Like, review, subscribe, share, rate, do all the free things, do all the good things. Liquid Death in hand. You know what I'm saying? We love y'all. And we will see you on Friday. Sports Reports is ordered. Out.
Sports reports, no gimmicks, no clowns. 2-5, Mr. Logical, we run this town. Real talk only, no chasing, no doubt. From the east to the west, it's the order we shout. Mic check, lights flash, game time, stay ready. 2 vets in the zone, keep the pressure real heavy. Big hits, big plays, yeah, we breaking it down. Truth rings in your speakers, every word is the crown. From the north side hustle to that southern flame. Midwest grind, west coast of the game. Sports talk kings, yeah, we wear that crown. Turn it up, let them know it's about to go down.